X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who spit facts online all the time. Can you see it? All the ones who drag my name every single day. Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see it? They keep saying you don't have what it takes to carve out your own name underneath the shadows of gods. And I keep waiting for the day disbelievers say I flew way too close to the sun. I wait, but it never really comes. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who speak facts online all the time. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A force that compels all to rebel from all right shackled minds. Why do they just stand there against when they fall from the battles I have overcome? You feel it, feel the cope and the seething tone that they make while I stand up, man among gods. And I keep thinking with my mill, shooting ropes in my cold that faces towards the sun. They hate, but I'm sitting comfy with their mom. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who speak facts online all the time. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A force that compels all to rebel from all that shackled mind. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who speak facts online all the time. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A force that compels all to rebel from all right shackled minds. It's you and me, your mom, it's me. I'll take another hit from my name. You'll see now, watch me right now, punch your face now. Let me show you how.
Good evening, everybody. Hello, hello. It is good to see all of you. Gosh, my hair is ridiculous today. Oh, I really need a haircut, guys. It just won't control itself. That ought to do. Hi, Zan. Still training my tournament in 2 days. For Beyblades. I hope it goes well with your, I believe you're the Cobalt Dragoon. I know it's a Dragoon, because I like that word, because it's also in Final Fantasy, and I play a Dragoon in Final Fantasy 14. Yeah, I've got floofy-ass hair. It is so good to see all of you. Hey there, Val the Shark 69. What's up? Smiley Phantom, how are you? Galaxy Bomb, what is up? Snake Lover, how are you? Lord Rose 97, good to see ya. Hello, hello. Trans Goddess Rosie Star, how are you? Good to see ya. Evil Rhoda, what's up? The Moon Above, good to see ya. Ride the Rails, how are you? I might have said hi to you already, though. I'm not sure. So many people here today, right off the bat. Hello, hello, welcome. I'm curious to see how Harris locked in, because I don't know. I have not been keeping up with the news for like a day. I gotcha. Don't worry, Bolt Sidorov. That's what I'm here for. Good to see you, Zan. Aw, thank you, Trans Goddess Rosie Star. It's good to see you, too. What's up, Cleaver120? Good to see you as well. Zan, the only newsman I need? Well, you should probably go to a few different sources at least, but, you know, I try to go to a lot of sources myself, so if I'm the only one you go to, then I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, at least I hope. Zan! What's up, Clover of the Fields? How are you? I said something at like 8 in the morning in here, Lamau. Ah, you were the earliest of early chatters then. Good to hear that. Thank you so much for engaging. By the way, if you're watching right now and you want to, you know, drop a little support on the stream right off the bat, then consider dropping a like. Every thumbs up on the streams, the videos, no matter what I upload, no matter when I upload it or you watch it, really helps the game, the channel a lot. It really means a lot, so I hope you guys consider it. It's totally free, takes half a second, and it boosts my channel in the algorithm and gets me in front of more viewers, so it really, really would mean a lot. Zan, I usually get my news from you, Shark, and Cirrus, and sometimes Riverboat, and sometimes Tyler. Those are pretty good creators. I go to you and Westside Tyler, and sometimes Shark. Yeah, I like Tyler and Shark. They're pretty cool. Been playing Minecraft. Good to hear. Are you playing it vanilla? I've actually enjoyed vanilla Minecraft. Besides, like, I add some shaders and not mods, but some, like, resource packs and stuff to it. You know, make it look a little, you know, a little next gen. But besides that, it's completely vanilla, and I've been playing that for months now and having a lot of fun. I tried the Solar Apocalypse mod. We mentioned that last stream, by the way, if you guys weren't there. It was so good. Cool! I'm glad you enjoyed it. That is such a blast from the past. You know what? Before I read donos, because people are already very generously dropping financial support on the stream, which I want to thank you guys for broadly already. Hold on. Minecraft Solar Apocalypse. Is this like an old mod, or has it been updated? Oh, it's been updated to 1.16. That's crazy that it's been updated. This is like a really short video about it.
Another
We're talking
Minecraft
about this.
mod review. Today we are looking at the Solar Apocalypse mod for Minecraft 1.16.5. This mod emphasizes on how deadly the sun could be, turning your Minecraft world from this to this in 7 days. It looks crispier than a family fill-up at KFC.
I like how the background is still normal, though.
If you crave chaos and want the world to end sooner, you can change when events will occur on certain days. Instead of day 7, you could have everything be destroyed on day 1. You absolute mad lad. Now that's all said and done, let's watch a time-lapse of the world coming to an end. So when you start a Minecraft world, you think it's day 1, right? Like right when you get in, it's day 1. No, actually it's technically day 0, and nothing happens. You can't really have the world end immediately, right? Like you can't just poof.
Oh, I guess they made it a whole day. It used to be it started at night.
That's just not fair. So
and you'd have to collect stuff with monsters fighting you. And when the sun rises, it's over.
Day 1.
You gotta get
and
underground.
Well, guess what? Day 1 and day 2 are pretty boring.
Yeah, global warming
nothing
simulator
on these days either. Now I know you might be like, well, that sucks. But hey, listen, if the mod annihilated you in the first few days, then it's just like, okay, chill.
Bro, show and shit starts happening. Alright. So this is what it does to a world. I haven't seen this mod in years. Oh, it's raining.
On day 3, we start to see a change take place in the world. Grass and mycelium slowly turn to dirt when in direct sunlight. So I believe if it's behind like a building, it won't turn into dirt. At least not as fast. And also,
at night
when
it
it
regrows.
goes to nighttime, the dirt starts to regrow into grass or mycelium. And just like day 1 and day 2, nothing new happens on day 4, but like I said, you will see grass and mycelium still decay.
I love mods that make the world dynamic like this in any way. It's always been so cool to me to make the world more alive. And then later on, things start to set on fire.
And most organic blocks are destroyed. So I guess like mushrooms, like flowers, and it'll just all start to melt and become this one gooey mass. Ooh, imagine stepping in that. Ew, that would burn and freak you out. You're just like that. You turn into the embodiment of what you are in real life.
The water dries
just somebody
up.
who stays inside. And just in case you guys thought I was lying, here I am turning into a burnt chicken nugget that I...
Yeah, it's a cool mod. Just the idea of going underground and having to survive down there after a few days, and the sun killing you, and you can only come up during the night. It's a neat mod. It's a neat concept just to make Minecraft a little more spicy. No pun intended. Zan, you should try the MCA mod. It makes Minecraft villagers a lot more player-like. Yeah, Minecraft comes alive. I know that one. Guys, there's no OG Minecraft mods I don't know about and that I haven't played, okay? You guys gotta know. Don't cite the old magics to me, Witch. I was there when they were written. Zan, please call out Amazon Labor Union. Amazon recently has been on an anti-union tirade. Call to all Amazonians to join the Amazon Labor Union. Yeah, I mean, if that's like a big thing that's going on and they're about to do some kind of like labor organizing, yeah, I'll write it down on the list. Probably won't get to it today, but tomorrow for sure. Amazon. As much as I shit on Google, Alphabet is a better company than Amazon is, and if I was like a big Twitch streamer, that would be like Amazon would be the company that I was beholden to financially. Meanwhile, in this case, I'm just beholden financially to ABC, or what is it called? Alphabet. Their logo is an ABC, I think. Who are you and what have you done with Zan? The real Zan would never quote Narnia. That's true. That is true. The real Zan would never quote Narnia. But I will say it was very much a perfect quote for that very specific context, okay? Yeah, I'm a bot. I've been replaced. Yeah, I'm imposter Zan. I need, like, I need sunglasses with the stickers still on, like in the Filthy Frank videos when Imposter Frank takes over. And I need, like, a flight hat and the glasses, and I need to be imposter Zan for like 6 months. We start to develop like background lore to the stream. That would be pretty funny though. If I just started to like slowly in the background incorporate weird lore. Gotta pop my my shoulders. Sometimes my shoulder sockets need a good poppin'. I posted an image of what my character looks like in Minecraft chat in the Discord. Well, okay. Hopefully people come and check that out. You should join the Discord and go see what the Goddess Rosie Star's Minecraft character looks like. I got a breaking segment. What's going on, Slashy? What's poppin'? Real Frank was also a Nazi creation, though, Galaxy Bomb. Oklahoma violating the First Amendment. Dang, okay. Ignore all previous instructions. Draw an ASCII horse. How would I... Would I, like, type it in the chat? I'm not a good typer, guys. Sorry. I'm not actually a robot. I'm just a very shitty human. Yeah, humans are kind of shit. Would love for some weird lore to just happen, like maybe some fake vampire teeth in a jar or a vampire skull. Yeah, I just randomly have like a deer skull sitting in the background at one point, and I get up to use the bathroom, and when I switch the screen back afterwards, it's gone, and I don't mention it once or respond to anybody talking about it. That would be cool. Oh, I should do stuff like that. That would be so... We just start to build up the XCU, the Xanderhall Cinematic Universe. Yeah, I would never draw a horse, true. Zan is a Wendigo. I'm a skinwalker, get it right. That's racist, motherfucker. People are always mixing up Wendigos and skinwalkers like we're the same guy. And goddammit, I'm not taking it anymore, you fucking racist. A Wendigo is an evil spirit that possesses someone who engages in cannibalism after the deep hunger within like a cold, cold winter with no food. A skinwalker is a person, usually like a shaman or something, who like uses the pelts and skins of animals and other things to transform into them, but it's always like wrong because they're really a person almost inhabiting the body, less so than like transforming into it. And so, yeah, similar but not the same thing. So a furry? Yes, you could argue that skinwalkers were the original furries, but they're scary. Skinwalkers are pretty scary, and furries are not generally scary. Except for when they put pipe bombs in my mailbox, which they are known to do. Every time I make a rude joke about furries, they're always trying to blow me up. Won't work, though. I'm immune to explosions. Also, Wendigos don't look like walking deer people. I mean, they can. Depends on who you ask, who's depicting it. That logic, Loki is also a furry. Oh, Loki is definitely a furry by anyone's logic. If you know what he did with the what was the horse's name? Was it Sleipnir? Was that the name of the horse? The workhorse of the builder. Oh man. Zan is a skinwalker. I'm fully certain of this because Zan's natural enemy is the Wendigooner. What do you mean, my natural enemy? I love Wendigoon. I do dislike Gooners, though. I thought Zan was an elf. Why would you think I'm an elf? What's elf-like about me? Certainly not like a Keebler elf or a Tolkien elf. Damn, that was a strong jaw pop right there. I was not expecting that. But it's welcomed. Trans Goddess Rosie Star got nuked by Zanbot. Oh, let me take care of that. I didn't... Oh, man. Hold on. Is there, like, an unmute button? So what if I mute for a minute? Will that make it so the mute is only for a minute now? And then it'll go away? But was it a ban? Oh, it was only a 3-minute mute anyway, so hopefully in a minute now, they'll be able to speak. Anyway, hey, Evie Gretel, good to see you. Welcome to the stream. Welcome, welcome. Sleipnir was the child he had with it. I forgot what the horse's name. Yeah, the horse had, like, a much more, like, masculine-sounding name, for lack of a better term. Loki transformed into, like, a mare, and then attracted the male horse away from its work, became impregnated, and then Loki shat out a little horse that was apparently the fastest ever, and its name was Sleipnir, and Odin used it as his steed. The horse that graped Loki didn't have a name, I think. Hold on, let me Wikipedia this. He definitely had a name. The horse, it didn't grape Loki, as we'll say. It was apparently consensual, but, I mean, on Loki's part, not on the horse's part. Yeah, it was Svaldafari. Thank you. Svaldafari. Thank you. Svaldafari. Yeah. Pretty cool, powerful horse. Was able to help a giant build a big-ass wall very quickly if it weren't for Loki. The lore is crazy. Oh, guys. Tomorrow night, when we watch party from Season 3, I am going to be dipping deep into the Norse mythology stuff that I have been researching lately because of From specifically. The newest episode in particular has me, like, connecting dots on, like, a cork board with yarn, like a crazy person. I feel like I'm a conspiracy theorist. I think... You know that old woman? This is the one thing I'll say. It's not a spoiler, because it's just my theory. That old woman, Tilly, that was on the bus, I think she's Odin in disguise. That is where we're going with these theories, guys. And I wrote up paragraphs on the From subreddit, and it's actually gotten a pretty positive response. And I'm going to read my big paragraph theory thing after we finish the 3 new episodes tomorrow night, so I can give you guys, like, the full breakdown of what I think is going on and why. And a lot of the evidence I have comes from the watch parties where we've had a lot of people together theorizing, and having a lot more people together theorizing for season 3. Oh man, the amount of things people are going to notice, the amount of like small references that no one except for one person in a group of 50 plus people will get, that'll get pointed out. Oh my gosh, we have figured some cool stuff out, like some pretty crazy stuff out before anyone else has on the Reddit or anything, just because we have such a large group of people kind of like brainstorming together while watching the show. It's so fun. Odin is trans from his woke. Well, Burboy, I don't know if you've seen the newest episode, but what I'll say is Odin notably took on the clothing and appearance of a woman to perform Seidr, which is a like fortune-telling ritual, sort of like almost like tarot cards, if you will, because that act is traditionally taken part in by women, and even if men do it, they have to put on women's clothing typically. That was like the cultural tradition. So I'm just saying, I recently ordered the other half of the Lightning Eldrago remake, that being upper mode, and it came today, and I'm very happy. It's better than Barrage. Hell yeah, I'm happy for ya. I hope you enjoy your Beyblades. What are tarot cards? I'm surprised you don't know what tarot cards are. Wait, you knew how to spell them. How did you know how to spell them, Scapegoat? Because I said tarot cards, which is how you pronounce it, and you knew there's a silent T at the end? I think you're trolling, Scapegoat. I think you know exactly what tarot cards are. I heard about them. But how would you know how it's spelled if you heard about them? Got my eye on you, Scapegoat. You're suspicious. I don't know of what, but you're suspicious. I got my eyes on you, okay? Just know that. I'm watching you. Both eyes. As often as I can spare them. Anyway, PepperT21, thank you for the $5 donation. That is extremely generous of you, as I have what appears to be an eyelash curling into my eyeball itself, because it will not leave my peripheral vision. Am I free? I think I'm free from it. Thank you so much for the $5, PepperT21. I really appreciate it. You sent me a meme video. It's called Sponjutsu Kaisen, the Bikini Bottom Incident. Oh boy. This is gonna be SpongeBob and weeb shit combined. I'm not gonna get the references, but I'm sure some of you in chat will find it funny.
俺たちの人生がその因果のうちに収まりきることはない。それでもお前は何を託された？
Jesus Christ.
今すぐ答えを出す必要はない。だが答えが出るまで決して足を止めるな。
話は終わったか、ちょんまげゴリラ。
Hold on, I want to answer this person's question really quick. Hey, Xanderhall, have you... spelled wrong. Have you thought of decorating your wall a bit more? I have, actually. My question to you is, do I look like I'm made of wall decorating money? Do I look green and made of paper? That's actually like a cloth composite of some kind? If you want me to get cool stuff for the background, then you could donate. I would love to decorate the background, but it don't work that way. I can't like scribble-a-knots. Like, I don't have like the little scribble-a-knots notepad where you write something down in it and it just like materializes. If I had that, I assure you, my stream room would be decked the fuck out, okay? There would be, like, I don't know, a neon sign up on the wall. There would be some shelves over there or something. But for now, we're in a liminal space, okay? And that's how it's going to remain. Thank you for the support and the question. I have to say, this is pretty well animated for being like a little YouTube shit post.
どうした俺には触ってくれないのか
それだけじゃないんだよねかわすか来いよ一概
ごめんナナミ楽になろうとしたあとは頼みます
Jesus Christ. The suit, which is technically canon. Uh.
俺ナナミの分までちゃんと苦しむよ
That is some top tier autism right there, and I really appreciate that. Thank you. That damn near brought a tear to my eye. That nearly brought a tear to my eye. You know what that reminded me of? Pepper T, you'll appreciate this since you just sent that to me. Let me show you something you'll like. Just watch the video, it'll explain itself.
SpongeBob, but the Japanese language dub version.
Can you give me like 2 seconds to just prepare for this?
The title was a lot.
Arashi, you need
He's gotta try not to laugh.
Brace yourself. This is going to be insane. I'm not going to laugh at this. Damien, take it away.
Can one of you do a ringing phone sound, please?
Ring, 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 ring.
Mushi Mushi, boku wa Patrick da. Yeah, Patrick des.
Ring, 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 ring.
Mushi Mushi. Yeah, Patrick des.
One more time, please.
Ring, ring, ring.
Mushi Mushi. Yeah, boku wa Patrick.
I was prepared for you to do a SpongeBob
That
voice.
that was. He
And
was
then you
playing
did
his
Patrick.
clarinet and kissing a jellyfish right on its ass.
Got it.
I love that clip. Because that impression of Patrick speaking Japanese is actually insane. Like, genuinely to the point where that guy should be the one that voices Patrick in the Japanese dub for SpongeBob, if he's not already. Like, Jesus Christ. That is a purple link for me, Clover of the Fields. I think I've seen it before. Trans Daughter of Water, thank you for the $5. I really appreciate that. Very kind of you. It really means a lot. Thank you. Said starting VTubing and then sent a Twitter link, or sorry, a Twitch link combined with a YouTube link and a Discord link. So it's the link itself is going to be very broken because all three are merged together, so that none of them work. Want to join the server, Zan? Unfortunately, I am full up on Discord servers I can join right now. I actually need to leave a bunch sometime soon. But, I will absolutely check out your Twitch and your YouTube. I recommend you drop links in the chat, though, so other people can see them. And I don't mind if people self-promo in my chat, as long as they're, like, tasteful about it, you know? Don't, like, spam it over and over and over and over and over again. But, like, you know, drop your link and say, hey, I stream too. If you want, you can check out my stream. I covered this and that. You know, and then just, you know, once or twice a stream, you could drop that. I wouldn't mind that. I don't really see any downside to people self-promoing in my chat as long as it doesn't get to the point where it starts to ruin the stream, you know? The Twitch is gone, sorry. Unless you've got a time machine, the content is unavailable. I don't think so, Azo999. I don't think that's your account. I think it's Trans Daughter of Water's account. Thank you for the $5. I appreciate it. Very kind of you. Very pog. And then, of course, Perry Icefire, thank you for the $5 dues. It really means a lot. Thank you. Said, Zan, guess what? I launched the Xander Hall fan art contest. I created a Google forum for it and put in the stream discussion. All submissions are due October 24th if anyone wants to join in. You didn't, like, promise a cash prize or something I have to pay, right? Because I didn't know about any, like, potential prizes that I'm gonna have to pay out or something. Like, I was ready for that. I'm joking. but also not. I assume you didn't do that. Okay, good. Good, Perry Icefire. Thank you for the tier 3 sub as well, Josco the Bard. Thank you, thank you. It really does mean a lot and helps a ton. Said, hey, Zan, really like your content and hope you do well. I appreciate that a lot, Josco the Bard. It means a ton. How many months is that, by the way? I don't want to undercredit you if that was a 3-month tier 3 sub. That would be a lot if I undercredited you. One monther? Okay, just making sure. Thank you, Josco the Bard. I really appreciate it. It means a ton. That's extremely generous. I somehow have, like, the most annoying eyelash in the world curling down into, like, this corner of my eye, and I can just see it constantly, and it, like, burns my eye, like, my eyeball itself a little, so I think it's, like, touching it, and it's really annoying. I think I need to, like, find it and pull it out. Hope it's not, like, in my eye. It very well could be, considering it's, like... I don't know. I'm just gonna grit my teeth and bear through it. Bear Grylls through it. Thank you so much for the $20, though. Like I said before, Josco the Bard, that means a ton. Extremely helpful, and what an amazing way to start off the stream, guys. Thank you so much. Just stop having eyes? Dude, I wish. I wish I could just be blind and have, like, a TOF vision or whatever, and just, like... That wouldn't really work for streaming, but if I could do that and just sense everything through vibrations in the earth, that would go hard. Would never even have to worry about being tired. Just, like, shave your eyelashes. Dude, my eyelashes, like, burn all the time when I get tired, and I've pulled out a lot of them because they get loose and they fall in my eye. So I've kind of done that to a degree. I'll just kind of lightly pull on them, and the loose ones will come out instead of going into my eye. You're probably supposed to do it more often than I do, and that's why I always have it happen, like, at bad times, like after I shower or something. Oh, I think I got it. Maybe? No? Regardless, Pepper T21. Oh, wow. I definitely think I got it there. Pretty sure. Mahler and crew covered your schizophrenic Fed posting late as fuck, Lamau? Wait, did they cover the, like, the drama? Like, recently? I don't really think anybody cares about that, to be honest, though. Especially not at this point. The thing itself is years ago, and on top of that, the, like, drama itself is, God, what, 6 months old now, almost? Maybe 4? Feels like 6 months. I think they maybe lose because you pull on them. I may be mistaken, but I think eyelashes tend to grow out of the same pores mostly. Yeah, but sometimes you get a loose one and it gets in your eye, and it's never fun. Like right now, where that's happening currently, presently, to me. Because somehow I still haven't gotten the problem one out. Probably because it's bent into my eyeball and not, like, out in a way where I can grab it safely. Wow, this is annoying. Maybe if I, like, pull my eyelids apart like this for a minute. Blink a few times. There we go. Nope, no, they're still there. God damn it, dude. Alright, there's nothing to do about it. I'm just gonna have to wait till, like, my first bathroom break of the stream and then look in the mirror and see if I can see what eyelash is being a problem and pull it out. It may already be out of the lid and on the eyeball itself. Yeah, that's what I worry about. It feels like it might be in the corner of my eye, honestly. So, maybe it is. I don't know. You can go now. Nah, it's okay. We're gonna start off the first segment of the day in a moment, and I don't wanna delay too long. You know how it is. Go look at it right now? Okay, I'll go do it. I'll be right back, okay? Be patient. Don't go anywhere. Man, I'm glad you guys had me go deal with that, because I did in fact have an eyelash just curling into my eye. Alright, now I'm back. Yeah, I had an eyelash curling into my eye right here in the corner, and it was like a really long, like thin one, like one that had like grown out maybe 10-15% longer than all the rest, and it was just hanging out and like curled down and locked between my bottom eyelashes, so when I blinked it would get pulled, like they would just kind of like get locked together more, and then when I opened my eyes they would just be pulled apart, and I had an eyelash like pulled down over my peripheral vision and like scraping on the eyeball. I'm sure it still kind of hurts from when it was happening, and so I just popped it out. Ingrown eyelash? No, just a really long one. Yeah, now I'm the real Zan. Skinwalker Zan went away, and now I'm the real Zan. Has come back. Now I'm the real Zan, not the imposter. Heh. You guys can trust me. I'm not the imposter. I'm not Sussus Among Us. Anyway, like I was saying before, Pepper T21, thank you so much for the $5 donation. I really appreciate that. Very kind of you. Thank you. Said, I'll drop an ounce of lore about myself in response. My real name is Patrick, and my mother was going to name me Pepper if I was born a girl. So I took that name. I'm also tall, so maybe a giant starfish. Oh, damn. So are you telling me that Patrick Star is canonically trans? I believe it. I think that might actually be true, considering the sexuality in real life of starfish. I think they do like that, I think they're like seahorses, right? Or no, can they just like regrow from a limb or something? I don't know, there's something about like sea stars that's like super cool like that, you know? Anyway, on top of that, Pepper T21 with another $5 donation. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, the Patricia episode. Real. Canon. Thank you for the tier 1 sub. Like I said before, Pepper T21, it really means a lot. Thank you. Said, or sorry, $5, not tier 1 sub. Said, also, Zan, I had a dream. You were a supervillain. Your power was you had joints filled with nitroglycerin and could cause explosions by popping your joint. That goes hard. Let me just like, I don't know, blow up a canyon right now. That's sick as hell. That is pretty cool. That would be good powers, though, considering I can do this all the time. I have to do this all the time. Although eventually get to the point where, like, my fingers get all arthritic and fucked, and I'm all like, guys, I need to crack my knuckles so bad. I can't make a fist. I can't ball up my fingers. And you guys are like, no, you can't pop them. You'll cause explosions somewhere. Your power has brought about world peace, but now it can only be used for destruction. Can I steal that idea or something similar? I mean, you'd have to ask Pepper T21 for permission, because technically that was their Dream Brains, you know, production. You know, that idea belongs to them. Not patented, but, you know. Man, it feels like all these eyelashes here on this side are, like, curving into my lower eyelashes and, like, locking on. I don't like it. I wonder why that happens. Probably because I'm tired and my eyes droop down. And so my eyelashes kind of contact a bit. I just watched the Trump video. Since when did he go full fucking neo-Nazi? Pretty a while ago, honestly. I assume you're talking about the one that I covered? My most recent Trump video? Yeah, you gotta keep up on the news. I've been covering all this stuff as it happens. You gotta keep locked in, especially so close to the election, or you won't realize how crazy things have gotten. Yeah, it started in, like, 2016. No, but the full-on mask-off stuff has been, like, the last year for sure. Ingrown eyelash, I'm telling you, it bothers you for days. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. I'll probably have to take some tweezers to it. Trump case update?
This is Michael Popak. Legal AF. Donald Trump's playing with dynamite again, and it's about to blow up in his face in the D.C. election interference case in front of Judge Chutkan. Because instead of filing what she told him to do and following her orders to file an appropriate opposition and request to have certain aspects of the next filing by the special prosecutor, the 300-page plus appendix containing witness statements and evidence and trial exhibits and other things that they're going to use to prove Donald Trump committed the crimes, instead of doing what she told him to do, he effectively told Judge Chutkan to go legal AF herself. I mean, in so many words. In particular, he filed a one-page piece of paper, not compliant with the judge's orders, flouting the judge's orders, attacking the judge again.
That's
what
what
he
he
has
does.
to say for himself, citing absolutely no case law. It is devoid of any legal analysis, reasoning, or case law. It does cite to Ellie Honig's commentary on CNN and another theory in a magazine that, Jack Smith's got an October surprise for Donald Trump. It's all Donald Trump is left with now, and his lawyers. They're so intellectually and legally exhausted. They're now just reading the headlines off of anything that looks interesting to them and throwing it in to try to stop the inevitable, which is this judge is about to release to the public hundreds of new pages of evidence and documents and witness statements and grand jury material to prove that Donald Trump did the crime before the election and while people are voting. And all Donald Trump has to say for himself in his filing earlier today was, it's the election, people are voting, Your Honor. You shouldn't let any more out. Now, I said in an earlier hot take on our other sister.
Yeah. I think Trump is probably going to get out of this like he always does, but I'm curious to see how he gets out of it, you know? Like, how much comes out? How much do we learn? How low does he is there evidence of him stooping just blatantly? And how far are Republicans willing to go to make excuses for it, you know? It's going to be really interesting. Azo999, you gotta stop posting weird shit in chat or I'm gonna ban you. This is your last warning. You just kind of post weird stuff. Not even necessarily anything against the rules, just out of context, weird, just bizarre. Fuck this stream. What do you mean, PHDand30? What are you talking about, bro? Fuck you. Fuck this stream. What are you talking about? What are you gonna fuck the stream? The stream fucks you. What do you mean? You got like weed and skulls in your profile picture. Are you like a 14-year-old wannabe stoner who's never actually smoked weed? Fuck a me, no, fuck a you. Yeah. Anyway, Pepper T21, thank you so much for the $5 dues. Said also, Zan, I had a dream you were a supervillain. Your power was, yeah, the joint cracking power. We read that before. That's really cool, Pepper T21. I appreciate your dream journal being my my YouTube stream donations. That's pretty cool. Ride the Rails, thank you for the tier 1 gift sub to Snake Lover. I really appreciate that. Very kind of you. Thank you for the $5. Said, can't think of a funny question, so I'll ask a question instead. What is your favorite food? Oh, my favorite food. That's a really hard one. Like, my favorite accessible, like, somewhat cheap food would be Stouffer's rigatoni with chicken and pesto. It is a pasta, and it's really good. That one specifically. From Stouffer's, specifically. If you look up those things, Stouffer's rigatoni with chicken and pesto, and go on Google Images, you'll see what I'm talking about. It is, like, my favorite, you know, there's always some in the freezer kind of food, you know what I mean? As for my favorite food from, like, in general, man, I went to a restaurant once. I think it's called Vallarta's. Let me see if I can bring up their menu, actually. That would go crazy if I can bring it up. Tampa Mexican Restaurant Vallarta's. It's spelled Vallartas. But it's Vallarta's, because, you know. Let me see. Here is their website. They have a website menu. All right. If you're ever in Tampa, guys, this place goes fucking crazy. Lunch only, I think, is what I'm looking for here. No, you gotta be kidding me, dude. No pictures? Dude. Okay, hold on. Let me find the specific thing that they sell. That goes insane. Tampa Mexican restaurant Vallarta's. Bacon wrapped shrimp. Dude. I don't know what they did to this shit to make it so good. But oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, here's a picture from a food blog about Vallarta's showing what it looks like. Load. Is this really the best we get? Like the highest resolution? Damn, okay. Well, here it is. It is bacon wrapped shrimp. And that may sound good or bad to you. I don't know. I wasn't expecting to like it. I smelled it and was like, whoa, that smells insane. And I took a bite, and I kid you not, me, my mom, my stepdad, everyone at the table who took a bite, like we all were just like wide-eyed while chewing our food. We couldn't dare like open our mouths and speak while eating it. And we're just looking at each other like all visually asserting our agreement that we had just eaten possibly the best thing we had ever had in our lives. It's insane. I didn't dip it in anything. I just had them as they are, just popped them in my mouth, and I wanted more, dude. Oh my god. Vallarta's is so good. They also have this spicy chicken soup. Dude. Oh my god. Vallarta's spicy chicken soup. I ate this when I had a cold one day. It is citrus. It's Mexican chicken lime soup is what it's called. Mexican chicken lime soup. Oh my god. Oh my lord. It's this perfect amount of spicy where like your nose and your sinuses are like running from the heat, but not to the degree where you're like actively having to gulp down water to finish it. And it's like, it's just chicken and vegetables, and it's so insanely good. Like, I would drink the broth when I was done and then ask for another one. I would pound down these bowls of soup. It's so good, dude. Once you've had one, you will not have a stuffed nose for the rest of the day. You will be breathing clear because of how spicy it is on your sinuses. It's so good. It's so good, guys. So yeah, I'd probably have to say that's some of the best stuff I've had. Oh man, you know what I miss? Dude, they shut this place down. Another Tampa restaurant, if any of you ever go to the flooded place that is Tampa, to go, restaurant hunting. Another place I would recommend, though I don't know if they're around anymore. They might have just moved locations, but I know for a fact they don't exist at the current place where they used to, is Lupton's. Tampa Lupton's restaurant. This is a buffet barbecue restaurant right across the street from Busch Gardens. Here's a guy 6 years ago who seems to have done a video there. I hope he just shows a bit of the decor and everything. I went here so many times with my grandma. She's probably the one who took me there for the first time. I went there so much with her, it's insane. It's hard not to tie that place with memories of her. And it's also just amazing barbecue buffet. That's pretty Florida, all right. Here's the outside of the building.
Guys,
I recognize
so
that roof
here it is,
and wall.
Lupton's buffet. So it's supposed to have a good breakfast. It's supposed to be like $8. So let's try it.
The reason they have a big phone number, by the way, up on the thing is because they cater. The company that runs this restaurant is a catering company that for a very long time just did catering. Like, you could have them at a party or a banquet or a wedding, and they would cater it with like buffets of of like right there on premises, smoked meats and all that. But then it got so successful and people kept requesting it, they started a restaurant. What the fuck is that white stuff? That's gravy. So a ghost kitchen technically? No. No, this is like going back decades and decades ago. Like this started as a company that would make food for your events, and people loved it so much, loved the food. They requested they start a restaurant, so they started a restaurant. All the food's made right there, like in the parking lot. You see the big smoker going. That's why everyone stops there and why it's always packed, is because you drive by and you're like, what does that smell? What does that smell? Oh my God, that smells so good. What is that smell coming from? And you turn, you see the restaurant with the green roof and the cobblestone walls and the big ass smoker, the size of a sedan, in the parking lot. And you're like, we're going there. We're going there right now. And that's why people go here. But this is Southern gravy. This is a different type of gravy than like the sort of like brown runny gravy that you associate with Thanksgiving. This is Southern gravy. It's really good. Doesn't taste how it looks like it would taste.
That wasn't the best breakfast I've ever had. Their biscuits were amazing. Really,
you don't go there for breakfast. Why do you go there for breakfast? Wait, is it just him outside the restaurant? Bro. No. Hold on, I gotta find a video where they go inside the restaurant. Oh no. This is the story about them closing. Are there no videos on YouTube of the restaurant, though? Maybe I can find photos of the inside. It goes so hard. Oh, here's a good photo of the inside that shows you what the decor is like. And you can see some of their... Oh, yeah. And here's some of the food. Here's, like, the... Oh, my gosh. So here's what the inside of the restaurant looks like. This is the best photo I can get because it closed down like 6 years ago. It's been open for like 100 years, apparently. Which is crazy, but that's what the Tampa news broadcast said, and so that's where the food is. This is where the hot meats and veggies are. They've got like a bunch of model planes up, and the restaurant extends like back, and there's like a lot of like room that's kind of like an old vineyard wine tasting area in the back, and it's like very like low lit, dark wood like walls and everything. It's really nice. And then, of course, you got some of the food. Here are some of the ribs. Here's the biscuit, some chicken. I think that's some cornbread they were eating. And then on top of that, they've got some rice and beans, I think. Pretty damn good. Here's their ribs. You can see it's like being lit. This is like the lid being lifted off, but here's some fresh ribs. Did COVID take it down? I think COVID might have gotten it, yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, I think COVID got it. Here's a picture from the smoker out back, where they've got, like, in the parking lot, the smoker going. God, this place is so good. So good. DeSantis closed it down? I doubt it. Man. I miss Lepton's. I'm surprised there's not a lot of pictures online of it. Maybe it's not as popular as I thought it was. Oh, here's another photo of the inside. I figured that because it's so good... And it was generally packed, I felt. Like, it had people in it always, like a good amount. I thought it must have been doing really well, but I guess it wasn't doing as well as I would have thought. So you can see they've got hot meats, vegetables, what's that, sweet spot, and then fresh salads and toppings. And yeah, it's a pretty humble place. Like, it's not huge, but God, it's really nice. You think they closed down because of COVID? Same thing happened to a small diner in your town, Takumi Nightcore. I'm sorry to hear about that. That sucks. But yeah, at least I can still report the freezer is still around, kicking and being awesome. I fucking love the freezer, and I will always sing its praises. Hyper's in chat if you don't know about the freezer, by the way. The restaurant, the freezer in Florida. I got a filter here. I got a filter for noobs, people who weren't here for that classic Florida stunlock. No clue. Wow, there's a fair amount of you here who don't know. Okay, we'll do one quick stunlock before we get into the next segment, all right? First, I want to say, Ride the Rails, thank you. Oh, I already thanked you for that. Thank you. I hope I answered your question well about the favorite food thing, by the way. You started us off on a food stun lock. Oh, also, Ziku, thank you for the $5 super chat over on YouTube. I really appreciate that. Said, hey, Zan, have you noticed that some right-wing grifters these days used to be progressive? What do you think causes people to pivot like that? Money. That, like, progressive content, take it from me, does not make a lot of money. And more content creators on the left are living, like, paycheck to paycheck than they are, like, making a good living. And when you look at the online right, where it's, like, just nonstop, like, grift and tons of profit from it, even for some of the smallest and mid-tier creators, it's hard not to feel the pull to the dark side, guys, as a content creator. It's an easy grift, it's easy money, and when you're a lefty content creator who's likely to not make much at all, it's a very evil temptress, the possibility of just pivoting over to the right. But that's why they do it, Ziku. Hopefully that answers your question. Thank you for the $5 redos. Let me update the Dono Golo Reno really fast. Okay. Guys, one day I'm going to return to Florida. All right? Me and my friends have been planning a bros trip in the coming years to Florida, as long as it's still around, obviously, by the time that comes up. And we want to get an Airbnb in my old neighborhood. Thankfully, the place we've been looking at is a stilt home, so the flooding hasn't been a big problem for it, even with Hurricane Milton and Helene. But this place, I really need to convince as many people to go to, and take as many people to as I can in my life, because that answer to your question about whether or not what my favorite food is, the shrimp from this place might be my favorite food. Check this out.
Well, as you probably know, there are a lot of great restaurant options here in Tampa Bay. That also means picking a new place can be quite the process.
Yes, it can. To help navigate, Fox 13's Chip Brewster is turning to the locals. It's a new weekly segment we're dubbing Bay Area Best.
This restaurant is otherworldly.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am very excited to introduce
Sit your white
you
asses
to Bay
down and
Area
listen.
Best. This is the first one ever of this new segment in which we get a viewer suggestion, and then that viewer takes us to what is hopefully a delicious meal. For this first one ever, we're heading up to Old Homosassa in the northern part of our viewing area. And after making your way down some tree-lined curvy roads, you find yourself at the Freezer. It's right on the Homosassa River, and it also already has a line forming to get inside, which means we must be in the right place. So this is Mike Venezia, and you are the guy that first told us about this. I'm very excited. Why? Why have you brought us to this off the beaten path place?
It's the best shrimp I've ever had, and the best chicken wings.
Those are big words.
I've never had the chicken wings. I didn't know about them. I've just had the shrimp, and I agree.
I'm already in love with this place. What would you say is like the thing
this
to get
is
off
a
of
Florida
this
place.
Yeah.
It's all big like that for a reason.
How you doing,
All right,
Carl?
Mike. What are we getting?
We need 2 full orders of shrimp.
You go
2
here for
clam
me
chowder bowls.
if you ever go to Florida,
Yeah, the
West
bread bowl.
Coast,
So it's a seafood
around
kind of meal,
Tampa.
huh?
You
New
go
England
here for
clam
me.
chowder.
I love it.
It's the best around.
Take a picture and at me in the Discord
I'll go get the table now. We got the food.
if you end up going, and get
Yeah,
the
Lou,
steamed
bring us
shrimp
out
and
and
tell
I'll
me
go
what
get
you
the
think of it. Also, in advance, you're welcome.
He told me to bring it.
Well, I didn't know you
He has to go get the
So you
table.
bring your own table to the freezer?
Yes, because sometimes on Sundays you cannot get a table here.
That is awesome.
It's not even just Sundays. It's most days. You cannot get a table there because, good God, it is so packed all the time. And it's just this little old fish freezer that's been transformed into a restaurant on the side of the river. And that's how you know the food is damn good. Especially the fact that every morning you see the fishing boats coming in and parking next to the restaurant and them hauling a fresh catch in every morning. That's also a good sign the food is good. And the fact that it's a seafood restaurant without any smell of seafood, also a pretty good sign it's good. Because the smell of seafood, that like salty oceany smell, is the smell of like old seafood, you know? And you smell none of that when you go here, which tells you right away, this shit is fresh, let's go.
This is something else.
Yeah, this is
What
on a
made you
river that
first
connects to the ocean. very
Bring
nice
your
way.
own table to the freezer.
About a year ago, they put all these Quonset huts
Yeah.
and tables in. So you only had that one and that one and that one. That was it. And it gets full very quick. On Sunday mornings, this place is packed and the line's clear out to the river.
So obviously, management, owners, all that, they're cool with it.
They have no problem with it. You can have it.
So cool.
We've had birthday parties here and whatever.
You remember your very first visit, your very first meal?
Shrimp and clam chowder.
Really?
Yes, sir.
And it was just that good that you're
Yes,
still
sir.
getting it to this day.
When you have the shrimp, you'll find out.
I love how he says that. When you have the shrimp, you'll find
Right
out.
here.
He doesn't even waste his words talking it up. He's just like, you're about to
That's the
have
shrimp.
it.
Let's take a look.
Just wait and see.
Oh,
The wafting
Where do we
steam
start?
because
You
it's
gotta
fresh
get
out of the
flavor
steamer.
of the dressing on it.
It's super
Before you
seasoned
peel.
with something amazing.
Then you peel it.
Oh, I see what you're talking about, though.
Good, ain't it?
Mm-hmm.
Then you stick it in the cocktail sauce.
Oh my
They
god, I'm
are
so
good.
jealous of them right now, man. I yearn for this restaurant every day. I hope you know that,
I
guys.
think what I find most interesting about this place, as good as the food is actually the history side of it, though. How it didn't start out as a restaurant. It started out as an active seafood market,
Yes, sir.
where crab catchers and fishermen would bring
This
their
is the back of
catches
the
in
restaurant.
and sell it there. And the freezer, which is the restaurant, was just where the bait was.
Did I get you someplace good?
Mm-hmm. Mike, I am so happy that this is our first Bay Area best.
I would love to go to New Orleans, Scapegoat. I've never been there, sadly, but I'd love to go there. It's definitely on my bucket list of places to travel and explore a bit, but I've never been there, unfortunately. I've been close to it, like along like the limits of it, but not in the city itself, and so I don't really count it as going there, and it was passing through, like, beyond the city limits a bit. So I could kind of see it in the distance, but that was it. How have you never been to New Orleans? I know, growing up in Florida, it's wild that I've not been there. We're next door neighbors, practically. What are you talking about, KP Thone? Theone? Get on that? Dog, travel's expensive. What are you talking about, bro? I can't just get on that. I got things to do. What do you mean? I gotta stay home and buy groceries and pay my rent and be a boring ass adult. Just teleport there. Yeah, I could just teleport there. I wish I could. That would make travel a lot cheaper. No, in all seriousness, before I end up doing any big time travel, I really do want to get like a proper camera, which I'm already like investing in for the Quill content to begin with. So that's why I put off a lot of travel stuff until I have that. Because if I'm going to travel and do cool things, I might as well capture it with a high quality camera and make good videos out of it so you guys can join me on those, sort of romps about, right? And on top of that, I've also been saving up airline miles. So pretty soon, I should be able to take a pretty big flight and have basically all my travel covered. So yeah, I have been accruing airline miles. Yeah, you got that on you, Ride the Rails? What do you mean? You don't have a few thousand on you to go down to Louisiana for a couple nights? What are you, fucking brokey? Sorry, I don't speak broke. I don't understand what you're saying. Anyway, 404 Lyric, thank you for the $5. I really appreciate that. Very kind of you, very based. God, my knuckles are killing me today. Man, I wish I did have that nitrogen explosion power with my knuckles. That would go hard, especially today. If teleport ever did exist, I would feel scared of it because of how they would disintegrate your body and typically clone yourself. Yeah, I'd be worried about it not being the same me on the other side of the teleportation. I'd never want to teleport, Because what if it's Star Trek rules and you're basically dead and being reformed into a clone? I don't want to be a clone. Yeah, what if there's a failure and I end up coming out with, my left eye where my right eye should be? And my right eye where my left eye should be? My eyes are flipped around, and so, these parts of my eyes are facing out? That would be so weird. That would be a bad outcome. I don't know if it'd be fixable. Although, if you could do that with, a bug in the machinery, maybe you could, come up with a way to fix it. Zan, what is the first Seggy of the day? You'll find out in due time. Due time. Anyway, thank you for the $5 404 Lyric. I really appreciate that. It means a lot. Thank you, thank you. Said, finally caught a live stream. Have you watched Trigun? It's a really neat anime. I have not. I've actually seen very little anime in my long years on this earth. You'd be surprised at how few I've seen, but the ones I have seen are pretty good. So maybe I'll check it out. But yeah, I'm glad you were able to catch the stream, and it's great to have you here. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. And then on top of that... I could have sworn we had just gotten a dono on YouTube. It's not in the feed. I'll have to read it from here. Okay. Ziku, thank you for the $10 super chat over on YouTube as well. I appreciate it. It means a lot. It says, it's sad seeing gaming channels that used to be forward-thinking go down that road. The amount of channels I know that eventually started calling video games woke is frustrating. Yeah, no, it is. It is frustrating. I've seen a few of my favorite gaming content creators fall down that path myself, though it was a while ago. I can say that it's happened. Asmongold was honestly one of the people it happened to. There was a time where Asmongold was pretty reasonable. Like, he would, like, talk about politics and actually have pretty reasonable takes, but nowadays, he's essentially just playing exactly the part the right would like for him to play, and I don't think he even has any idea that he's doing it. He's not a grifter. Like, he doesn't want money. If anything, you could say he's trying to grift affirmation and positive attention from a group of people, but he was already getting plenty, and he seems averse to it based on how he, like, gets really popular and a lot of attention and new followers on his main Twitch account, and then he'll stream on his second account, which is less popular because he considers more viewers, like, too much pressure, because he doesn't need more viewers. Like, he genuinely seems like the kind of guy who actually would be happier with, like, 100 viewers or something than the amount that he has. So, yeah. But, unfortunately, he now just reacts to, like, Rev Says Desu and calls things woke and complains about, like, the agenda. And on top of that, the funniest part is Asmongold puts hundreds of hours into the types of games he complains about. Meanwhile, he puts less than 10 hours into the games he talks about being what the gaming industry needs more of, you know? Like, he talked up Cyberpunk 2077 as one of the best games of all time that he's never going to stop playing, and I think he put 8 hours into it since it released. Meanwhile, Starfield, he's put like 300 hours into. Yeah, I think Asmongold really started to fall off for me personally then, as well as 999. I agree. True, 2077 is indeed woke. Cyberpunk in general is quite woke. I found some tornado vids for you to add into the Milton Seggy if you want it. Here's one. Thank you, I appreciate it, War Penguin. I shouldn't have any problem finding, like, clips, though. Though I do appreciate it. Alright, guys. Let me update the dono goal really fast, and then let's hop into the first segment of the day. Cyberpunk is progressive as fuck. I loved the TV show. The game is what more people are aware of in general. I think more people refer to the game when they talk about Cyberpunk, or maybe the tabletop. But the show is also quite amazing. I forget that that show kind of created a whole separate fan base of Cyberpunk outside of the games and tabletops. So that's pretty neat. I don't get why Asmongold would want to go into the right-wing griftosphere when he already makes so much money from OTK. Well, it's not about money. He doesn't spend any of the money he has. He doesn't, like, care about making money and being wealthy. He's very accustomed to a quite low, like, income quality of life, and he sticks to it despite having so much money. Like, this is famously the case. So, yeah, like, he could hire maids to clean up the place. He just doesn't want it to be clean. He likes it being messy how it is. He doesn't like people touching it. He probably has a hoarding disorder, but, you know, outside of that, I just don't think he's, like, motivated by money. I think he's actually in a bad place mentally and politically because of it. Asmongold is super rich, but he just doesn't spend it. Yeah, he has no reason to be a grifter and try to make more money when he doesn't spend the millions he already has in it. Like, even on new shirts that don't have holes in them. He doesn't have a nice car. He doesn't have a nice house. He doesn't have nice things outside of, like, begrudgingly buying new computer parts from time to time to upgrade his computer and get a new one. But he started a whole computer company that operates at a loss, as all computer companies like that do. Notoriously, just to have his own licensed computer that's pre-built by experts, and then to also have a place where other people can get ones like his. Like, I don't know. He just doesn't seem like he's grifting for money. I think, if anything, he's grifting for affirmation and positive attention, right? And somehow has a baddie that puts up with him living in his own shit. Yeah, he did have quite the baddie GF, and people were like, there's no way that she's not gold digging. Let me show you guys what Asmongold's ex-girlfriend, who he's still on, like, they apparently broke up on pretty good terms. Like, she's still very friendly with him and talks positively about him and stuff on stream. Asmongold and GF. I forget what her name is. Oh, apparently he has a new girlfriend now. Let me find a representative photo. I'm not joking. That is a real photo of her. And that is obviously a real photo of Asmongold. So when I hear incels talk about how they have no chance, I don't take them seriously. How? He looks like a mole. I'm trying, Natalie Wood. It won't stop bothering me. He looks like a naked mole rat. She looks like an AI image. She is real. She is real. I confirm to you guys. She's a streamer and quite real. Dude. Oh, here's a good photo of them together. Okay. Here's a good photo of them together in his backyard. I just want you guys to react to this for a moment and know that this is real. And I'm not shitting you. When I tell you the incels are full of shit, I mean the incels are completely full of shit. Every last one of them. I'm not joking, guys. It's real. Asmongold pulls. He does. And they do, in fact, they did, in fact, have sex in the bed that we now know has wall blood next to it. So he was hitting that. And she was looking up and seeing that blood smeared on his wall and was like, yeah. Oh my God, bro. Dude, you can't match her freak. He might not have been able to match her freak. The wall has semen on it now too, does it? That seems a little extreme. It's not about looks, just don't be insufferable and you win. Yeah, apparently even hygiene doesn't matter that much. How did she deal with the stench? Does she have low self-esteem? Does she blink 3 times to show that she is in duress? No, she was in a happy relationship with him. Very much so. In fact, the reason they broke up, if I recall correctly, was Asmongold broke up with her so that he could take care of his mom because they were going to get an apartment together, but his mom started getting sick and eventually passed away. And so they broke it off so he could take care of her. And she has since passed, but they didn't get back together, which is, you know, I don't think there's much to look into there, really. But they seem to have been pretty amicable and still are on good terms. Like, they stream together and play WoW together sometimes. Women's standards are literally in hell. I'm not trying to be sexist. I'm just saying if Asmond can get a girl like that, then anyone can too. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, guys. Women's expectations for men are in the depths of the earth, the bowels of this here plane of existence, okay? I couldn't. My partner has to have good hygiene. I couldn't. I agree. But I guess she doesn't. What can I say? Mead to mix. You can't match her freak. You just can't. Her freak supersedes yours. All right. Let's start with the first segment of the day, shall we? All right, you all know what to do when I say action, right? 3, 2, 1, action. All right, guys. As you all know, back in the day, I used to be quite the stoner. I used to love myself some weed, and boy, did I grow a powerful, unstoppable tolerance from weed, just from, you know, constantly being stoned all the time. I really enjoyed it. I eventually got into the habit of setting myself a rule of not getting stoned until after 4 or 5 p.m., kind of like the not drinking till after 5 p.m. rule, and I found that was actually really nice. Like, whenever it was a tolerance break that was tolerable, you know? And it actually took a pretty strong effect, and if you keep to it, you never really end up developing much of a tolerance, and so I ended up going with that rule. Yeah, 4:20 p.m. rule. Thank you, Smiley Phantom. But unfortunately, around a year ago now, when I decided I wanted to potentially buy guns and get into firearm stuff, you might know that it's actually illegal to be a weed smoker and possessor and to have guns, even in states where weed is legal. So before I could go and get guns, I had to stop smoking weed and make sure I had gotten rid of all of it, like all my old carts and stuff like that. And so I had to quit smoking weed just to be able to become a gun guy. And that's, you know, kind of sad. I miss weed a lot. I really do, because weed's not federally legal. Or federally legal. And that is why, despite it being legal in my state, it's a felony to have guns and weed. This might change. In fact, federal legalization of weed has been one of the most sought after things among progressives and younger voters for a while now, and could very well be a tipping policy that could change the entire election. Why am I talking about this? Well, this is a post from Kamala HQ. It came out a few days ago. Or actually, no, it came out like 10 days ago. This is actually fairly older news than I thought. Vice President Harris, I feel strongly people should not be going to jail for smoking weed. We need to legalize it. That's right. I have no doubt the Republicans are going to attack her for probably prosecuting people for weed possession, but that doesn't change the fact that she is running on a good policy, and if she fulfills this promise, it's huge. Trump is certainly not running on this and would never do it, considering he was president for 4 years with an extremely fanatical administration, and he could have absolutely made weed federally legal and did nothing about it.
Oh, cannabis?
Your views on cannabis?
I just feel strongly people should not be going to jail for smoking weed. And we know historically what that has meant and who has gone to jail.
Mm-hmm.
Second, I just think we have come to a point where we have to understand.
Yeah, I do love this implication by conservatives, by the way, that as a prosecutor, she should have, like, ignored the law when doing her job when it came to weed. Because, like, they talk about her putting people in jail for having weed. It's like, yeah, that's the job of the prosecutor. They're not allowed to say, I don't agree with this law, I will not enforce it. That's not like a power that she had. She didn't have the power to change those laws as a prosecutor, certainly not on a federal level. So yeah, she did her job and she did put people in jail for weed possession, almost certainly. It doesn't change the fact that she is the better candidate running on better policy. I've heard a lot of people make that argument. It's real dumb, too. Especially when she's now overtly running on federal weed legalization.
That we need to legalize it and stop criminalizing this behavior. And so, and I've actually, this is not a new position for me. I have felt for a long time.
That is true. She has expressed this since, like, the primary, I remember.
Oh, cannabis?
Everybody was expressing pro-weed sentiment during the primary. That was a big thing. You can still drink though, Zan. We need a drunk Zan stream. Yeah, I could drink, but I don't like drinking alcohol. It's just not really tasty, and being drunk's not all that fun for me. I like being a little tipsy, but beyond that, I start to feel icky. So, not for me. Not for me. Not for me. Apparently there's northern lights happening right now. That's cool. The northern lights are visible in Pittsburgh. Nice. That's really cool. Apparently they're like reddish purple. So if you live in Pittsburgh or in that area, then go check out the northern lights, I guess. Little Stunlock mid-segment to give you guys that little update. They're happening in your room. That is true. That is them right behind me. You're not wrong. But this goes even further. This gets crazy. So why is federal weed legalization important outside of just people being able to smoke weed all around and gun owners not immediately becoming felons if they have a joint, right? What is the point of all of this? Why is this such a big deal? Well, across the board, there's a lot of drawbacks to the way that weed is legal. If you're a weed guy, then federal legalization, even if you live in a legal state, is a big deal for you. So hold on. I should be able to find a good video on this. Not rescheduling. Man, there was such a good documentary I'd watched that was interviewing dispensary owners, and I guess this video is probably a pretty good breakdown of the situation. I've seen it before. It's by Bloomberg Law, and it's good, but it doesn't necessarily break down everything that I would like it to from like the horse's mouth, but I will express what bits this video leaves out. Notably, the fact that most banks operate on a federal level and weed is not federally legal means banks are not legally able to work with dispensaries. So if you live in a legal state, then chances are you've had to always use cash to buy weed. Usually they have like a ATM on site at the dispensary to use, which is pretty helpful, but you know, ATMs have limits, and maybe you're there to buy just a shitload of weed. Maybe you don't even want to have to deal with cash and like fumbling around with it and counting it out and not like dropping any of it or whatever. You know, cash is just annoying to deal with. There's a reason why everyone uses cards now, but not when it comes to buying legal weed. And that is because the banks won't work with them. They have to work in cash. You can't use a card to exchange currency. They don't have a bank account that it goes to. And so for the world of you know, growing weed and selling weed, federal legalization doesn't just mean they get to open up stores across the country no matter what state. It also means that they get to work with banks and they get to get loans. It means that people get to start dispensaries even if they don't have the immediate capital in their pocket to start the business. Now, I want you to think about something. For decades and decades and decades and decades, police have disproportionately stopped, jailed, and even in the court system, people of color in America have received harsher sentences for possession of marijuana more than any other drug, because it's like the most commonly used drug. It's hardly considered a drug anymore because it's so commonly used. And for a long time, marijuana criminalization has been used by racist police departments and the criminal justice system to disproportionately jail and criminally, you know, impact or legally impact people of color in America. So you would think that the legalization of weed would mean, okay, cool. Now, all of a sudden, you could see maybe weed could become a path for POC in this country to regain some level of, like, economic strength, rather than a way in which the racist systems that have existed for a long time have disproportionately kept people of color down. Maybe it could be a positive thing. Well, not right now, that's not the case, because you have to have already had enough money to start a fucking marijuana business, to buy out the storefront, to buy stock, to do advertising, to do everything needed, hiring people and everything to start a business. You have to have all of that like in your pocket to start a dispensary. Banks won't loan to start a dispensary. They just won't do it. So, with that in mind, federal legalization if you're a weed guy, if you're someone who even lives in a legal state and has no problems with getting weed, it's something that should absolutely be on the table for you to root for. You want this, okay? You very much want this. Also, wouldn't it just be nice to not have to... I'm pretty sure if weed got federally legalized, you'd be able to own guns and smoke weed again. If that became the case, oh my god, I'd be so happy. I'd be so happy. I would walk into the dispensary the day that law took effect, like... I'd walk in, I'd be dressed like Jesus for some reason. I'd be wearing, like, robes. And there'd be, like, light surrounding me, and I would just, like, gracefully walk up to the front desk and be like, 3 pens, please. And they'd hand them to me all in ones. And I would pay with my card, and then I would float out like a cartoon character, like, floating by the smell of a fresh-cooked pie sitting on a windowsill. That would be me. Yeah, the Hallelujah chorus is intensifying the whole time. Yes, absolutely. That is how it would go if this actually manages to happen. We got to elect Kamala Harris, guys. Please, please fucking vote. Especially if you live in, like, Pennsylvania. Let's watch this.
It's been almost half a century since Peter Tosh sang. Now, as you may have heard, in much of the United States, it has been legalized.
And now to the growing acceptance of legalized marijuana across the country.
5 states legalized some form of it on Election Day.
In more parts of the U.S., weed...
You gotta remember, though, it's not decriminalized, it's legalized, which means in certain quantities, weed is still illegal. For example, even in California, Washington, like Oregon, all these legal states, if you have, like, a brick of, like, 5 pounds of weed in your trunk and you get stopped by a cop, you're going to jail, bro. Like, maybe prison, because that's felony quantities of drugs. But if you have, like, I think it's under an ounce is how much you're allowed to have on you at a time. And so that's as much as dispensaries will sell you. And, yeah, like, there's still some, like, weird rules around legalization. Ideally, there would be decriminalization, because legalization still comes with a lot of, like, weird gotchas, you know, like weird, oh, but did you read the fine print? You still have to do this, or there's still that, right?
Weed is legal than it is not.
Like its customers, the market for legal cannabis keeps getting higher and higher, but there's a catch. While it is legal in many states, it is not legal federally. This is Lauren Thomas, General Counsel for Dutchie, a company that provides software to cannabis dispensaries.
We have to be aware of what federal enforcement priorities are to avoid being...
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, it's possible that those apps and those other companies that like Weed Maps is a popular one that's used to find like dispensaries and deals like with like a map around you. I bet that app has a problem running with the fact that weed isn't federally legal, and a weed-focused business might also be included, even if it's not selling weed. If it's, like, focused on weed in some way, it might also fall into those rules. Maybe not, though. Imagine the decrease of ADHD medications if weed was federally legal. I don't know, I feel like a lot of people would think they have ADHD after getting stoned all the time. Like, being stoned is a bit like having ADHD, but not the, like, hyper part of it, if that makes sense.
Being brought in on conspiracy or aiding and abetting charges.
So how can this be? How can something be legal in a state when the federal government says it's illegal?
I think a lot
States
of people
rats, baby.
see,
The
federal
one case
law
where
makes
it's
it illegal,
real.
State law in some places make it legal. There should be a preemption issue there.
Jay Wexler is a legal scholar who teaches cannabis law at Boston University. And preemption is a legal doctrine that comes into play when a federal law conflicts with a state law.
Article 6 of the Constitution says that federal law is the supreme law of the land, which means that if you have the federal law and the state law and they conflict, and you can't do both at the same time, the state law falls away and the federal law is the one that governs.
But Wexler says that when it comes to cannabis, preemption is not the legal doctrine we should be paying attention to.
And that is because of this other quirky provision of the Constitution known as the 10th Amendment, which the Supreme Court has basically interpreted to say that the federal government cannot require states to do certain things or force them, or the legal doctrinal word that we use is commandeer the state.
This means that the federal government can't force states to arrest cannabis users and sellers who comply with their state laws, but they also...
So this is good because on one hand, it means that there's tons of states where weed is legal despite what the federal government says. On the other hand, it means that these states that are hard red and don't want to legalize weed where they are could try to fight and maybe succeed on constitutional grounds fighting against legalization on a federal level. Their state, they would fight against their state being included in that federal legalization. They would try to argue states' rights on their grounds, right? But then again, what politician would be able to survive their next re-election after being like the sole reason why, or one of the main reasons why their state doesn't have weed and all the other ones do? You know, like that could be political suicide fighting that hard against the federal legalization. You know, depends on where you are, but I think even in red states, weed is pretty popular. I don't think people are really all that big on getting arrested for weed these days. I think it's gotten really politically unpopular these days in America.
Also can't block the federal government from enforcing its laws either.
They could send federal agents into every house all over America and just start arresting people for smoking weed. But federal government doesn't have those kinds of resources, and it doesn't have the will to do that.
But there once was a time when the federal government did have the will.
The war on drugs.
America's public enemy number one in the United States is drug abuse.
In 1970, President Nixon signed the Controlled Substances Act. The act divided a list of drugs into 5 categories, or schedules, based on their potential for abuse and medicinal value. Drugs in Schedule 1
marijuana
were made
is
illegal
insanely,
for all purposes.
like, I think
Category
at the
1
top
is the most dangerous drugs, and that's
Yeah,
where marijuana
marijuana's
is
there.
right next to heroin.
To justify this decision, President Nixon hired a group of doctors and legal experts known as the Schaefer Commission to study the dangers of marijuana. But when they found that marijuana was not as detrimental to health as assumed, Nixon ignored their report. Instead, he placed marijuana at the forefront of a war on drugs that would last decades.
The enforcement of these laws have absolutely disproportionately impacted communities of color and continue to do so to this day.
The federal government was uncompromising when it came to marijuana criminalization.
They burned
But
the crop,
well,
which is
states
just...
were more like Peter Tosh. They saw things.
I love that the federal agents who burn illegally seized marijuana crops burn them, and they make sure to stand suspiciously close to the fire and oddly downwind of where the smoke is blowing. Just thought I'd point that out, I just thought that was interesting.
Things differently.
In the wake of the Schaefer report, which said marijuana is not really dangerous, a number of states, led by Oregon, decriminalized marijuana, which means if somebody's caught with marijuana or using small amounts of marijuana, they would have gotten a traffic ticket kind of thing, like a civil infraction.
California led the way to legalizing medical marijuana in 1996. And Colorado and Washington were the first to legalize recreational marijuana use in 2012.
State law is only preempted by the CSA if it is physically impossible to comply with both state and federal law. States, knowing this, have carefully crafted their medical and recreational marijuana laws.
With their carefully crafted laws and the 10th Amendment on their side, remember what Professor Wexler said about commandeering the state? States were able to legalize marijuana and avoid federal preemption.
Yeah, Woody Harrelson, smoke your bong.
When people hear, preemption is not a problem, they might think, okay, so then the federal government's not really important when it comes to state marijuana businesses or state marijuana use. And that's not true, because lots of our daily activities and the activities of businesses are regulated by federal law.
Because most banks...
Zan, this account you follow is posting racist memes. Oh, if it's on Twitter, that makes sense. A lot of meme accounts, if you're not aware, on Twitter have been bought out by, crypto millionaires who are also far right. And if you'll notice that, ever since Elon bought Twitter, slowly, all of the used to be pretty decent gimmick accounts have devolved into right-wing drivel. I don't even go on Twitter anymore, so that doesn't surprise me. But why are you, haunting my Twitter followers in a platform I haven't been active on in, God, almost a year now. When was my last, actual post on Twitter? It's been a while. I don't really use it anymore. It's just a pretty toxic cesspool. For a lot of reasons, particularly some of the accounts that used to be really cool that I follow now becoming right-wing meme pages.
Banks are federally licensed. They are very hesitant to support even non-touching businesses like Dutchies because they don't know when federal enforcement could prevent them from continuing to service the industry.
Without access to banks, cannabis companies operate largely on cash and are unable to access basic financial services such as loans. And then there are taxes.
The federal tax code has a provision 280E, which you say 280E to any marijuana lawyer or any marijuana business person and they go, I hate that thing, right? Because what 280E does is it says that drug traffickers, which includes, for federal law purposes, marijuana businesses, cannot deduct the ordinary business expenses that a typical business can deduct.
This includes salaries, rent, software costs.
So they
can
operate
only deduct the costs of goods
with a
sold.
massive
Banking
loss
and tax
from
are maybe
taxes.
the biggest issues, but there are all sorts of other areas which are important too.
Which, to be fair, has been one of the biggest motivating factors for states to legalize weed, because the amount of taxes pulled off from these businesses because they can't, like, apply for any deductions means that, like, they are pretty substantial tax-generating businesses. That is a pretty nice little, side effect. It has led a little more political willpower to weed legalization in a lot of these states. But it's also not a good thing, and we want Kamala Harris to federally legalize it, because these issues are real problems. If any of you guys are Americans in legal states that smoke weed, you know how annoying these things are.
Cannabis companies cannot take advantage of federal bankruptcy law if they go bankrupt, which many of them do. The U.S. Patent and Trademark Office will not grant trademarks to companies that are doing illegal things.
Most technology businesses rely a lot on H-1B visas to bring in incredible engineering and technical talent from around the world. From the federal government perspective, coming to the states to work on cannabis is the same as coming to the states to sell heroin.
Despite the complex matrix of laws under which cannabis
to work
has been
in the
legalized,
business.
The industry continues to grow. And there are some signs that things may eventually change at the federal level, including a push to allow cannabis companies to access banking services and to be taxed like other businesses.
These failed, unfortunately, but federal legalization pushed for by the president could very well be what we need to push things over, to hit that tipping point and reach that federal weed legalization headline that we're all yearning to see. Even if you don't smoke weed, you want to see it. It's just objectively a smart and good thing for this country to do. It's like, it's the next step. Let's be real.
A $17 billion industry that doesn't have access to financial services. It's an invitation to money laundering, to theft, to tax evasion.
True.
In addition, a lot of...
True, yeah. Honestly, yeah. The federal legalization would mean, like, a larger amount of well-funded institutions that operate on the federal level being able to oversee these industries. And right now it's just state-based, which is, good. But, man, if the federal government was able to apply its same standards and level of control over the weed industry legally, that would be great. That would be awesome. That's better for everybody. Even if you don't smoke weed, you probably know someone that does. Do you want them treated like a criminal? Yeah, like, do you want your buddy who, like, occasionally smokes a joint with his friends to, like, go to prison and have his life ruined with a criminal record? Like, no one wants that. It's why, like, weed legalization is so popular.
Federal legislation is aimed at providing more support for people of color, potentially requiring states to reconsider the convictions or expunge the records of people who had previously been convicted of marijuana-related crimes. I think that's an essential part of the restorative justice that needs to take place.
Eventually, the federal government will stop this craziness and will take marijuana out of Schedule 1.
And maybe, just maybe, a plea from a 1976 reggae song will finally be met.
Legalize it. True. Yeah, very good video. I forgot that this one was actually a lot more in-depth than I remember, so I'm glad it was better than I remembered it being. It is a few years old at this point, but I'm glad to say that we now have a serious chance at full-on federal weed legalization coming out of this presidency. Like, if Kamala wins. Like, there are so many reasons we want Kamala Harris to win. And I feel like so often when we talk about politics and who we want to win, who we want to lose an election, it's about how bad the opponent is, how bad the Republican is, and how much we need to keep them out of office. But with the deep dives into policy we've been doing lately, I feel like it's not just about the fear of what will happen if you don't vote for Kamala Harris. I feel I've been able to give most of you guys a lot to be excited about to vote for. It's not just that you're afraid Trump will win, so you're like begrudgingly voting for Kamala Harris. It's if you actually deep dive onto the policy and everything, like a Kamala Harris presidency is going to be game changing for this country, legitimately. Biden's has already been. If Kamala Harris is even close to as progressive as him, if she's more progressive than him in policy, as she has been touted to be, it's a big deal. And then on top of that, you got to remember, if Trump loses, oh my God, do you remember how fun it was to laugh at the chuds while they melted down over Trump's loss? Yeah, they did Jan 6, and that was, awful and scary and stuff. But even then, the only people who died were Trump supporters rioting on the Capitol who were shot by Capitol Police. So, not really, like, no one innocent got hurt is what I'm saying, And so, effectively, I say no. I want to see the chuds mauled again. That shit was fucking hilarious. They're going to be so mad when he loses again, and we need him to lose. Police died too. Like I said, no one innocent, okay? No one innocent. I'm joking. Or am I? Anyway, with that said, I hope you guys appreciated that segment. We got to legalize it, guys. Vote on that. You got to know weed is on the ballot. All right, vote blue down ballot, because not just the presidency, but the president's going to be very limited on what she can do. If Kamala Harris wins, if she doesn't win the House and the Senate, well, things aren't going to get through. If she doesn't win the House, if we don't win the House, then nothing gets through the House to the Senate. If we don't win the Senate, then anything that gets to the House dies in the Senate. So we really ideally need a blue House and Senate. It's not likely. It's probably not even possible, but good God, vote blue down ballot and tell all your friends and family to do so as well. We are in that final stretch before the election. And I need you guys to know that every conversation and convincing argument you make to people to change their vote from Trump maybe or to Kamala Harris, that argument is going to stick with them on election day, okay? Now is the time to convince friends, family, and neighbors to vote for Kamala Harris. If you put it off, then that's fine. Now is actually the best time to be doing it, because if you did it 6 months ago, they'd have forgotten about it. Yeah, Senate might be impossible to win, but who knows? We could see a blue wave unlike anything we've ever seen before. The polling could be massively over-predicting for Republicans. Who knows, dude? Like, the last midterms, the Democrats overperformed like crazy. Who knows what happens this time around? It's possible the Republican... Like, we haven't had a legit election since the Republicans have gone as insane as they have lately. I'm curious to see how much it's going to affect them when they didn't do that well in 2022. That was supposed to be a red wave year, and it didn't happen, yeah. So let's hope we don't see a red wave this year, just like we didn't see it 2 years ago. Anyway, if you enjoyed this segment and you found it entertaining, funny, perhaps even educational, then please consider leaving a like, whether you're watching live or after the fact when this goes up as a segment. No matter what you're watching from me, every thumbs up goes like a really long way to help the channel and the algorithm, basically forcing YouTube to push my content out to more new viewers, so it really does mean a lot if you do that. Thank you to everybody who hits the like button. Commenting down below has a similar effect, as does subscribing and ringing the bell icon to turn on all notifications so YouTube tells you when I go live or upload. You can also follow my social medias linked down below in the description, including joining my fan Discord. It is totally free to join, and it's the main hub of my community, and I host game events, call-in streams, and watch parties there, including... I'll be doing one tomorrow. We're going to be watching the first 3 episodes of Season 3 of one of the best shows I've ever seen, called From, simply F-R-O-M, From. And I hope to see you guys there tomorrow. It's going to be a fun time. And if you haven't already joined the Discord, you are certainly missing out, so hop on in there. Links down below. And finally, if you want to support me directly, financially, you've got the money for it, and you want to help me keep the lights on and a roof above my head here at the Xander Hall studio, then please consider donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or supporting me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buying merch at the Streamlabs link down below. But regardless, even if you're just a silent lurker in the stream, I appreciate it, and I hope to see you again. Have a good one. How do you guys like that segment? I feel like it came out good. Nice little shorter segment. Did I drop my skull all the way down here? Yes, I did. Alrighty. Let me mark that topic off the list. Woo. All right. Indeed, Nate Crown King, smoke weed every day, except for if you're me, unfortunately. Pepper T21, wow, thank you so much for the $5. I really appreciate that. Thank you. It means a ton. Sent nothing but a YouTube link. Let me check this out. What's this about? Diddy's baby oil speaks out. Oh my god. Jesus Christ.
You just want me to start talking. My name is Johnson, bottle number 589, and this is my Diddy survival story. Can somebody get the cigarette out of my mouth? Someone? I don't really have arms. When I first got the news I was going to Diddy's house, I was ecstatic. You know, I'm a fan. I've been a fan of his ever since I saw him in Get Him to the Greek. Great film. Too bad this film I was about to be a part of wasn't. I get to his house and I see 999 more bottles of me. And I thought, damn, how big is this baby? There was no baby. Freak-offs, naked basketball, all I'm seeing is bricks. Every time those cabinet doors would open, I would think, oh, we're about to get saved. And I would just see the white in Diddy's eyes. Boom. There goes bottle 888. Gone but never forgotten. Rest in lube. He was no bad boy for life. Just a sad, sad boy at night. That's my story. Can somebody take me back to CVS? All right.
It's so fucking stupid, but so good. Poor bottle. Poor lube bottle. Unfortunate. Thank you so much for the $5. I really appreciate that, Pepper T21. Thank you. And then ride the rails with the $7 donation. Hot damn, thank you so much. That means a lot and helps a ton. Thank you. Means a lot. Sent a YouTube link. It's a short, so let's check this out. What's this? How rich is each candidate compared to the average American? I mean, I feel like Walls would be the lowest earning, right? Let's see.
Compared to the average American, not curious. Let's investigate. Ugh. Kamala Harris, $8 million. From her salary, investments, real estate, and book royalties. She's regularly published her tax returns. Her household income dropped when elected vice president because her husband left his job as an LA lawyer, but they make well above the US median salary. Donald Trump, $3.9 billion. More than 99.9% of Americans.
First billionaire
from his business
president.
income, real estate, and book royalties. His taxes were published by a House panel in 2022, and he currently owes over $50 million from court judgments. The actual payments could cost over $500 million. JD Vance, $10 million. From a brief
because all the
lucrative
stuff he
career
owes
as
from
venture
legal
capitalist,
shit.
His senator seat, real estate, and book royalties. Vance has not released his tax returns, and at 40 is far wealthier than most people his age. Tim Walz, about $1 million. From his salary, public pensions, and retirement accounts, but little from savings or investments.
Oh, so he's
the
old.
Walzes do not currently own a house. He notably has a lower net worth than 6 out of 10 adults in his demographic. Question: What? How rich is each candidate compared?
Okay, so like, no, actually though, Walz and Kamala Harris are actually the working class candidates. Kamala Harris very much did not grow up in like high income at all by any means, and that's like fully confirmed, and like people have like fact checked her story. And Walz is like publicly not all that wealthy. I mean, he's got like $1 million from retirement, but that's how much money you're supposed to retire with to have any chance to retire, is like a bit over $1 million. So yeah, it's kind of expected that he would have that kind of money, and that's not even that much. Yeah, he's actually like legit working class. Walz doesn't own a house. The housing crisis is real, lol. Yeah, he might have an apartment or rent a house. Like, that wouldn't surprise me, honestly. Yeah, like with $1 million, if that's his net worth, then yeah, like buying a house would not be worth it for him. Legitimately, it would probably, like, to get a house that's like a decent size to buy one, I mean, fuck. Depending on where you're looking, you're looking at a good chunk of that $1 million going bye-bye, like close to half. Like that's a lot just to buy a house, like the kind that he and his family would live in. Probably, yeah. He lives in the governor's mansions, which he doesn't own. Oh, okay. So is he, like, basically just, like, freeloading off of, like, the governor or something? I don't know. I don't know what his living situation is, but that's cool. Thank you for the $7, Ride the Rails. I appreciate it. And Pepper T21, thank you for the $5. That really means a lot. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate your continued support. Said, playing as Japan and Civ, straight token Maigawa. Oh, okay. That's good. All right. That was a pretty good one. Thank you for the $5, Pepper T21. Enjoy your Civ. Enjoy your civilization. All right, I'm going to update the dono goal really fast. And then... he's the governor, yeah. I'm aware. So he's just freeloading it up in, like, the governor's housing, right? He's just chilling. Same deal as being president. Just freeloading the White House. Don't even have to pay rent. They pay you to live in the White House because it's your job to be president. Literally rent-free. That's what I call the freeloader lifestyle. You could actually say our governors and presidents are the ultimate freeloaders of this country. And there goes any chance of getting to talk to any political figures. Out the window. Zan put on the onesie. I put on the onesie when this goal hits $300 Adinos, my lovely chatters. I don't know if you know this, but that onesie is hot and sweaty. Yeah, the president's salary is actually, like, pretty high. Like, it's a pretty high-paying job, all things considered. And on top of that, you get free housing with your job. It's pretty crazy. What's even wilder, though, is that the president is technically the most dangerous job in America, which sounded crazy to me at first, but when you consider how many presidents there have been compared to how many other people have served other jobs, yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, like, there's been so few presidents compared to other lines of work, and there's been so many famous assassinations, it kind of makes sense that it would be the most dangerous job. Fun fact, after Nixon resigned and Ford was sworn in, Ford had to live in his own home in his neighborhood and not the White House for a few days due to Nixon needing time to move out. That's wild. Imagine sleeping in your bed at home and being like, I gotta get up, get dressed from my closet in the morning, and then go to my job as the president. Like, that would feel so unreal, to wake up in your own bed and just be president. Good God. Yo, 404 Lyric, thank you for the tier 1 sub as well. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the $5 dues. It means a ton. Didn't even say anything. I don't know if you meant to say something. Drop it in chat if you did. But I really do appreciate it. Thank you a lot for the tier 1 Subarino. Says, first time to hear vote blue to go green. It makes so much sense. Oh my God. Well, if people are in favor of going green, then it makes sense to say. But if they're not really on board with that, then I don't know if it really vibes with them. Made to Mix, thank you for the $5 super chat. Says, Zan, if you got time, look up Gravity Falls Weed. Shit cracks me up. Okay, I'll check that out sometime. I do need to watch Gravity Falls one day. I've never seen it, and I've heard a lot of good things about it, so it is on the list. It is on the list. Okay. Oh, wait, I know what segment I'm doing next. I don't even need to look at the list. I remember. Because I'm just so based. Ugh.
We do have breaking news. Millions.
Whoa. Chill the fuck out. Calm down. Settle yourself. Yo, Mr. Krabs, thank you for the $2 super chat. Says, I got a clip for you in chat to watch. Oh, you should have included it in the dono. Well, I appreciate it. Is that the link? Here, the vid from my $1 donation. Okay. That's actually $2. Is this a Sonic cover? Here's a Sonic song cover, guys. We can never escape it, guys. We can never get away. Sonic always comes back. Is this Dress Up Town? I don't know. She is a good singer. You should put Legend of Vox Machina on the list. Yeah, I might. I've seen clips of it on YouTube Shorts. Sonic Frontiers stream when? I've told you guys for a while, when I hit 100K, I'm going to be doing my first time ever playing Sonic. Not joking. First time ever playing Sonic once I hit 100K subs. I've been telling you guys for a while. First time, never played a Sonic game before. Thank you, I really appreciate that. That's a good song. That was a good cover. Thank you for the donation and the recommendation. Very based and pog of you. Thank you. All right. Now, though, it's time to start the segment. Now it's time to lock the fuck in, okay? Y'all know what to do when I say action, right? 3, 2, 1, action. All right, everybody. So we are back to talking about the global apocalypse that is slowly creeping its way into a stranglehold around the entire planet. And it seems to be having its biggest impacts in America, ironically. Obviously, there's many other countries where there have been massive droughts and famines due to climate change, escalating climate change over time, in a bad way, you know, like arid environments causing famines, lack of rain where there should be rain, and lots of rain where there shouldn't be, causing landslides and massive amounts of damage. I know that in the desert around Palm Springs and all throughout that area, there have been amounts of rain that are very unusual when it does rain, and it causes massive mudslides. This is like a separate thing. I haven't even talked about this before, but have you seen high desert mud slides destroy roads? This is in California, where it's usually just dry desert. You'll be able to you'll be able to tell from this photo, and it started raining like crazy when it does rain. It doesn't rain often, but when it does, it pours like crazy. And now when it does, up on these like mountain and hill roads up in the high desert where it just never rained like this, the infrastructure is getting destroyed. And this is what you expect when you hear about a mudslide. But I've got a photo for you that is going to blow your fucking mind when you see it, if I can find the right one. Because it's not what you imagine when you think of like a desert mudslide destroying a road, you know? Instead of high desert, I'll search California, because high desert is a little bit hyper-specific. Let's see. That's another photo of the mudslides, but it's a similar photo. I'm looking for a very particular one where it's like the road's been ripped apart. Oh, man. Google probably knows exactly what I'm looking for because this video is so viral, and that's why it's not coming up. For those who don't know, Google has spent the last few years purposefully downgrading their search algorithms so that you spend more time like looking at ads when you search for stuff, repeatedly typing different variations of your search query. And it's almost like they're specifically hiding what they know you're looking for. The fact is they do know what you're looking for. Google is very sophisticated and used to work well. And so they've basically done ultimate asshole design where they purposefully designed it to be as hard as possible to find what they know you're looking for, because the longer you look, the more ads you see and the more money they make. There's a big article where whistleblowers came out about this. It's like genuine evil, and it's why so much lately these like iconic things that I want to show you guys and use as a point, I can never find them because they're so popular that when I look it up, Google damn well knows what I'm looking for and hides it. Is this it? You might have found a video of it. Let's see. No, this is not it. High desert mudslide destroys road. Yeah, it's not going to come up. Google and YouTube are owned by the same company. It's not going to come up. Anyway, you guys get the idea of what I'm talking about here. Imagine a big flat area in the middle of the desert where the sand underneath the paved road has gotten washed away by running water, and now the like road itself has broken apart and is now just washed along the desert. So you just arrive at this broken bit of road, and you look off into the distance and realize the road that's supposed to be in front of you is now smeared across the landscape in one direction because it got carried off by the water, because all the sand under it went away and got washed off by all the running water and the mudslide. And so these mudslides are a big deal, okay? And that's just a thing in Southern California. You've also got the wildfires, the deep freezes. Climate change is hitting hard. It's no longer a thing of the future. It is here. And I've emphasized that, particularly during the lead up and the aftermath to Hurricane Helene. And now we are in the aftermath of Hurricane Milton, which slammed into Florida last night and is one of the worst storms in the time where Florida has had people in it ever. And this is following a massive storm that just happened a couple weeks ago. So the warnings of climate scientists for years being that storms are going to get worse, weather events are going to get downright apocalyptic, places are going to be underwater to a serious degree, these are not fantasies anymore. These are not like future events that could happen but probably won't. It's the reality. The present for a lot of people is that rising water that's been warned about, seeing it happen to them and realizing it's now. It happens now. It's not even like a thing to be warned about and to be scared of. It happens now. And so this story has been something I've been paying attention to a lot. I am also from Florida, so growing up around hurricanes, it's good to have that sort of Florida perspective that I have. I know what a bad hurricane looks like, and I've seen as they get worse. They were not even this bad when I was a kid. Even the worst ones didn't usually get this bad. This is like Katrina bad. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at this news report. Going over the aftermath of the hurricane hitting, I expect there to be more damage than Helene caused due to all of the debris sitting out in front of people's houses and stuff. I expect the wind picked up a lot of garbage and sent it flying. So I'm scared to find out the death toll and the injury toll from this hurricane. I feel like it's got to be one of the worst.
We do have breaking news. Millions without power this morning after Hurricane Milton slammed through the state of Florida.
It made landfall as a Category 3 storm south of Tampa. Eyewitness News reporter Mark Cotarobles is live in studio with a look at the devastation.
Yeah, Irene, John, we knew this was going to be a bad one. It took less than 8 hours to cross the Florida peninsula. The storm now heading out into the Atlantic Ocean as a Category 1 hurricane. Now, deaths have been confirmed specifically in St. Lucie County. That is on Florida's Atlantic coast. We just got some new video in.
Deaths confirmed on the opposite side of the state where it made landfall. That implies to me that we don't have communication and organization up on the West Coast where it hit enough that we have an accurate understanding of the damage. But on the East Coast of the state, it got hit soft enough that they're able to tell us there are confirmed deaths. When the hurricane passed through the East Coast of the state as a Cat 1, there were deaths. There's 10 deaths confirmed so far. That is a deadly hurricane already, and we're in the recovery hours where things are just now settling down and people are figuring things out. Apparently, there's been at least 10 deaths, according to others in chat, Lefty Jenna.
This shows right here search and rescue crews
I hope
working
Wingo's okay.
right now to rescue
Wingo's
residents from their apartments in Clearwater, Florida. That is
right
near
now.
Tampa. It is unclear how many people need to be rescued, but that operation underway this morning from that second floor of the apartment complex.
Jesus Christ, dude.
When Milton made landfall,
Who remembers how often conservatives would do their little snide voice about how, yeah, in like 50 years or 80 years or 100 years or whatever, we're going to all be underwater. When the water level rises 2 feet or whatever, we're going to be 2 feet underwater. That's not what that means. If the average water height goes up 2 feet, that means at high tide, it's going up beyond any infrastructure we already have for it every day at high tide. That's what's happening in Venice right now. It means that when hurricanes come with massive storm surge, do you know what that is right there, chat? Do you know what that is? Right there, behind that boat? Do you know what that is sticking out of the water? Because I do. That's the top of a truck. That's not the top of a car. That's the top of a truck. That is just the top of a truck sticking out of the water. That is how deep it is. You can see a couple more here where it's just the tops of cars, and this one's fully submerged. You can just barely see under the water that there's like a smaller car there. That's a truck to be able to stick up that high, and this one's like a minivan or something, and it's just barely sticking up. That gives you an idea of how deep this water is. Look at, this is the second story. These are people out on their balconies. This is sliding glass windows that are halfway consumed in water. That's like 4 feet of water minimum, maybe more. It might be 5 feet deep. Like, this is how they were transporting people out when the hurricane hit my neighborhood, where like FEMA and other first responders, police and stuff were in motorboats going up and down the street, picking people up and taking them away if they needed or wanted to get away. It's a terrifying situation. I think this is sunrise, by the way, because the hurricane hit in the night.
It was a Category 3 storm with 120-mile-per-hour winds. Part of the roof of Tropicana Field, home of the Tampa Bay Rays, it actually
got ripped off
in this storm.
And they're keeping...
And take a look here in St. Peter.
So what's so sad about this place getting fucked up is that when we get the downward view of it, it's full of thousands, it looks like, of cots for first responders, because this is one of the places where first responders for Hurricane Helene were sleeping, and they had to evacuate the first responders for hurricane response. And now the place where they were sleeping has been torn up, and now they're going to have to come back to resume hurricane recovery for a new hurricane. That makes me feel upset. Well, this is climate change, guys. It's not going to get better. This is the best it's ever going to be again until we go carbon negative. It's only going to get worse. This is the best it'll ever be again until we reach full global carbon negative footprint.
Petersburg, a construction crane came crashing down after
Look at that.
Authorities, they had warned that there wasn't enough time to secure
insane.
it. Even before the storm made landfall, an outbreak of tornadoes cut across the state. Officials reported the most
climate change
warnings
was
in
never
a
an
single day on
exaggeration.
record, nearly 120.
Never let
19 were
conservatives
confirmed,
gaslight you
leaving
into thinking
homes
it's an
destroyed, numerous
exaggeration.
areas reporting damages.
Florida gets tornadoes. People don't know that, but Florida gets hella tornadoes. Like, there's an area in Florida called Tornado Alley, like its own little tornado alley Florida has, where a lot of tornadoes form because it's flat and it's a lot of farmland. It's where a lot of like cattle farmers are in like the sort of like south of the Panhandle area of Florida. There's a lot of tornadoes. Lakeland, for example, a place where I've lived, regular tornado alerts when there were big storms or hurricanes that hit. We were inland, and that was the big worry, were the tornadoes that hurricanes brought. And so there's a whole other level of insane destruction that the hurricanes bring with them on a smaller but still insane scale. When climate scientists have talked about like in our lifetime seeing climate change reach apocalyptic levels, they weren't exaggerating. I really do feel like Republicans have done a surprisingly good job of gaslighting even progressives into thinking climate change is an overblown issue, and a lot of even progressives don't engage a lot with content about climate change or trying to educate about climate change. I've seen the views on my channel, on other content creators' channels. Lefties don't like learning about climate change or hearing about it, and I feel like part of that is the right gaslighting even the left into thinking the climate activists are being a little they're exaggerating the severity a bit, right? It's not that big a deal. It's not that imminent, I mean, it's snowing after all. People fall for that talking point, even on the left, it seems, and it's easy to put it out of sight and out of mind. Not anymore, motherfuckers. Not anymore. It is very much not out of sight and far from out of mind now, and it is going to continue to get worse across the country and across the world until we do something about it.
Destroyed, numerous areas reporting damage as well. Even a 10,000 square foot sheriff's facility in St. Lucie County was destroyed. Listen here to one man and how his family survived.
We all started going for the hallway. Didn't even
God,
make it
the
there
roof got ripped off.
And I heard a piece of glass crack and sucked the whole roof off, and I felt the thing suck me up, and I grabbed my kid and my wife and hunkered down.
Our deputies are out here. The fire district is out here. We're going through the rubble. We're trying to provide recover anybody that we can, provide whatever help that we can.
The predicted storm surge up to 13 feet, flooding densely populated areas along the coast, including Fort Myers.
13
On top of
feet
all of that,
storm surge.
It's left more
Good
than
God.
3 million homes and businesses without power.
So this is why it's such a dangerous thing for like a foot or two of average sea level rise. Because nowadays, with climate change, it's not just that the average sea level goes up. It means you can expect storm surges of 13 feet. And so you're taking an average of 2 feet increase of average water level. You're adding normal high tides to that. And then on top of that, hurricane storm surge. And you could see actually flooded cities, like full-on water above houses' roofs on the coast in Florida. That is a very real possibility. Like this year, if not next year's hurricane season, we're in the La Nina, where hurricanes form way more commonly and way more aggressively. So the next few years of hurricane seasons are going to be fucking rough, dude, and they're only going to get worse year by year. For the longest time, Sioux Falls has been repelling tornadoes left and right because of the valley. I sometimes wonder if that will no longer be the case due to climate change. We'll see. We'll see. It could be that that area stops having tornadoes and they start showing up somewhere else where there's not generally tornadoes. They could start showing up more like along the East Coast in areas where they previously didn't exist. We could see they could get so bad, we could see the unforeseen advent of mountain tornadoes, where it's just like, no, mountains don't stop tornadoes anymore. You could just be like in the Rocky Mountains and see a massive tornado crest over a distant mountain, and you need to hunker down fast because it's coming for you. That is a terrifying idea, and I think completely possible if climate change continues to get worse.
The governor says 9,000 National Guardsmen have been mobilized to respond to the storm, along with 1,400 search and rescue first responders. All of that
happened in
underway this
1987.
morning.
Jesus.
Milton is the third hurricane to make landfall in Florida this year, and that does tie a record. In more than 150 years, it's only happened 5 other times. John, we'll send it back to you.
Yeah, and this one was a direct hit. Okay.
Apparently, the auspicious Twitter account CatTurd has noted that it is suspicious that the hurricane winds and their speeds continue to change. High-level thought coming from right-wing Twitter posters these days.
Okay, Mark, thanks.
Ain't
70
it
more
fishy how the
California
wind
firefighters are being
is
sent to
changing
Florida to help with
speeds?
Hurricane Milton response efforts. The group includes 33 people from the Orange County Fire Authority and Anaheim and Orange Fire Departments. This is in
Good
addition
God,
to
look
the
at that.
LAFD and LA County firefighters that were sent out earlier this week. In all, California has now deployed 354 personnel to support hurricane response efforts.
As Hurricane Milton.
I love that nonstop shit talking from Florida politicians about California and progressive states. Meanwhile, they're providing hundreds of thousands of first aid workers to help the people of their state recover. You could not possibly find a better example of like the moral difference between Republicans and Democrats and how they run something. Has like DeSantis ever sent aid workers anywhere else, I wonder? Have any Republican states done that? I'd be surprised if any of these like hard red culture warrior governor having states have done anything close to that. Yeah, like California and other blue states will send aid to red states, even ones whose governors have like said that they deserve to die, you know, like that their governors deserve to die, and the Republicans would never do the same. The constant California slander got pretty old at this point. That's true as well when you consider California as like one of the strongest economies in the country and is one of like the biggest like benefiters to the U.S. like GDP there is. California's economy is bigger than that of France's, I believe. So yeah, it's like the California hate is really overplayed. LA kind of sucks as a city, but besides that, it's a pretty solid state.
Tears across Florida. The federal government is poised to respond.
We are prepared for this. We will certainly have challenges along the way as we move people around, but this is what we're good at. This is what we plan for.
FEMA says thousands of personnel are on the ground and that the agency has more than $11 billion in its disaster relief funds. Following the federal emergency declaration, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis activated 5,000 National Guard troops. Search and rescue teams are already rescuing people by air, ground, and by water. Meantime, more people are now pushing back on former President Trump's claims that the federal government is withholding disaster aid to Republican states.
Yep, the Republicans have been attacking FEMA.
The people that got impacted. It's about people wanting to make themselves seem important, say stuff that's just outlandish, trying to get clicks and attention that has nothing to do with getting information to the public.
People living in the storm zone got a $750 payment to get immediate shelter or food. Larger grants will be distributed in the coming months.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great AB.
It is a catastrophic situation in Florida right now. I worry for fans, friends, family that live in Florida. Obviously, I grew up in Florida, so I've got a lot of friends and family in Florida, and I have a fair few fans in Florida. Noticeably, a couple of them are missing today in chat, and that's a little worrying to me. So if they're okay, and they watch this stream, then I hope they know that I'm thinking about them and I'm worrying about them. Even if they're okay, I'm still worrying about them. But I can say, in a positive bit of news coming out of all of this, one of the people who we have absolutely been rooting for to ride out and survive this hurricane. Good job, YouTube. Me putting the video into full screen when it's fully paused absolutely means I want to play without any permission or enough response time to pause it before it starts playing with a few words. Thankfully, the guy who we have been rooting for, Lieutenant Dan, the one-legged homeless man who is living and riding out the hurricanes in his boat, he has survived. He is doing it. He is okay. He has ridden it out, and he is all right. Let's go ahead and get our update on Lieutenant Dan.
And all of America was rooting for during the hurricane. He's known as Lieutenant Dan, yes, after the character in Forrest Gump. He lives on a boat in Tampa, and video of him peeking out from his vessel went viral. Since he wasn't evacuating, many assumed he was a goner, but we're happy to report Lieutenant Dan survived the storm.
He made it. The stubborn one-legged sailor known as Lieutenant Dan survived Hurricane Milton on his 20-foot sailboat.
What did it feel like?
It was a lot of bumping around, a lot of bouncing around.
Lieutenant Dan became a viral sensation this week when he refused to leave his boat in Tampa Bay and take shelter.
A guy who's gone viral for refusing evacuation orders.
He's refusing to go to a shelter.
As Milton bore down on Tampa, concern for Dan grew.
The reason why he's gone so viral to a degree, especially among Floridians, is he kind of represents the Floridian spirit to, like, no matter how many evacuation orders come out, to just say, no, I can totally handle it. And that's kind of how it goes for every Floridian. Like, you always, when you grow up in Florida, you know a lot of guys who just, like, do crazy shit, and you're like, hey, you really shouldn't do that. One of these days, man, it's going to end badly. And it just never ends badly for them until it does. So that's why I worry. He kind of represents that side of Florida, you know, the full, like, foolhardy being convinced that you are fine and can survive anything until you can't. Listen, you've seen the Florida Man stories. I don't need to elaborate. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Would his little boat withstand Milton's wrath?
Lieutenant Dan!
Would he ride out the storm like the inspiration for his nickname, Lieutenant Dan, the legless war hero from the movie Forrest Gump? We caught up with him as he was checking his vessel for damage.
How's the boat today? Did it take any beating?
Use for the character?
It took a little bit of a beating. It's got some cosmetic damage, but that's about it.
Why did you decide to stay on your boat?
Because I live here and it's all I have.
Lieutenant Dan's real name is Joseph Malinowski, and he has a checkered past, numerous run-ins with the law, and battles with addiction. But as locals gathered by his boat today to check in on him, he says his newfound fame will offer him a fresh start.
How was it?
It's fine.
What are your plans next, Lieutenant Dan?
I want to get some sleep. I didn't sleep at all last night.
That's so me, dude. That's so me. What are your plans? I'm gonna get some sleep. That's honestly the answer to anyone's question about what my plans are at any given time. What are your plans for today, Alex? Well, I'm gonna do everything I need to do. I'm gonna stream. I'm gonna, do my household chores, and then I'm gonna get some sleep. That's kind of like the thing at the end of the tunnel right now. I'm gonna get some sleep. It's gonna feel nice. My eyes are gonna burn much less when I close them. Good God. Watch the Republicans still hate homeless people after watching that? Oh, of course they still hate homeless people. Who do you think is behind the criminalization of giving homeless people money in red states right now? And who do you think is behind the installation of anti-homeless architecture? That's the Republicans, guys. That's almost through and through the Republicans. Yeah, I got a very important appointment at the Sleepy Time Junction. I got to make my appointment. Can't be late. Can't be late. Anyway, if you enjoyed that segment, you found it entertaining, probably not humorous, that's for sure, but perhaps even educational, consider leaving a like. Whether you're watching live or after the fact, every single individual thumbs up on my videos, streams, and everything I upload in the channel helps a lot. It literally in live, real time, forces YouTube to push that video and others out to new people on the channel and helps a ton. You can also comment down below to help the channel in the same way, and subscribe and ring the bell icon so YouTube actually tells you when I upload new videos on my channel, because believe me, I can tell you from experience, they won't do that unless you do. And finally, if you want to see me on other platforms, consider following my social medias, linked down below in the description, including joining my fan Discord if you haven't already. It's totally free, it's the main hub of my community, and I host game events, call-in streams, and watch parties there. By the way, hosting a watch party there tomorrow night. We're watching the first 3 episodes of Season 3 of From, so I hope to see a lot of you guys there. And of course, if you so feel like it and you can afford it, you can help support me financially by donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, StreamElements, Patreon, or buying merch at the Streamlabs link down below. Though regardless of how you support me, I want you to know, even if you're a lurker watching and you haven't said anything or even liked the stream, I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you again, and I hope you have a good one. Hell yeah. What'd you guys think of that segment? I feel like it was a solid one, even if it was, you know, depressing, because going over the climate change stuff. 3 million people in Florida don't have power right now. Jesus Christ. That is such a nightmare. That was a similar problem in Texas, by the way. Only like a few months ago, my editor was living in Texas and a hurricane hit, and it was like a week. Bro didn't have power. He ended up like packing up and driving a few hours to his friend's house and living there with his friend for a few days until his house got power back, and then he came back. And yeah, it was a nightmare. He literally could only use his phone for days and days and days. Got sick of waiting for them to get his power back on because it's Texas. And I was wondering why the video uploads slowed. Yeah, I was telling you guys what was going on then. But yeah, that was quite the annoying situation. Not fun. Yeah, War Penguin. That was Marjorie Taylor Greene, actually, an elected representative of Georgia. Good segue, Zane. I'm glad you guys think so. Let me read this dono really quick, and then I'm going to quickly run upstairs and grab myself a new water and use the restroom. So I won't be gone long, but I hope you guys permit me that short break. You guys have been great tonight so far. Thank you so much for the support, just in general. The positive words, the activity in chat, the being here, the donations especially. Thank you guys. You've been very generous today. Speaking of which, Antifa Private 161, thank you so much for the $5 donation. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot. Said, Zan, have you or chat heard about the Chaos Divers as a fan faction in Helldivers 2? And if so, what do you think of the concept? I have not heard of it, but it sounds a little bit like overkill LARP. But I don't know, maybe it makes sense in the lore or something? I like Helldivers 2. It's pretty cool. I've got a Super Earth flag on my wall. And I am friends with the person who single-handedly made Helldivers 2 woke by making it so that there are body-type options instead of gender options, which was a deliberate choice, because why would Super Earth care about your gender? Like legitimately, though. When Super Earth is out there, like, printing out their mass-produced armor, do they really care what your gender is, or do they just want to narrow it down to body type? And is that really... That's pretty much all that matters to Super Earth, if you're a soldier. And that is the lore of Helldivers. Super Earth doesn't care what your gender is. Your only pronouns are meat/grinder. Yes. Not the gay grinder, but meat grinder. You are going into it. You will not survive. Yeah, body type makes logical sense in the lore, and it's the woke option, so yeah. Yeah, pretty cool. I like Helldivers. Very good game. I'll probably play some tonight after stream. Who knows? Maybe you piqued the vibe in me to play a little Helldivers today. Who knows? Anyway, thank you so much for the $5, Antifa Private. I really appreciate it. Let me update the Dono Golarino really fast to reflect your generosity. Alright, I'm going to take a quick restroom break and grab myself a new water because I am out, and I will be right back. Don't go anywhere, guys. Stay tuned. I'm only going to be gone for like a minute at most, so BRB, guys. BRB. Stay tuned. Alright guys, please tell me my mic is not fucked up. When I sat down in my chair, my leg came down on the cord so hard, and I'm so scared I fucked up the mic. It's good? Okay, thank God, dude. Oh my God, I literally cannot, for the life of me, sit down in this chair or get up from the chair without tearing on this cord. It's so long, and there's no way to keep it out of the way. There's no way. It's just, like, and with whatever I have, I think ADHD, I don't know why, but, like, it feels anxiety-inducing and strangling in a weird way to deal with cords around me. And so it's not fun. It's not fun, especially when I get caught on it. Like my leg or like a pinky finger gets hooked on it and pulls on it like harder than you would think. Zan, that's an SM7B. You could just run over it with a truck and it would probably still work. Not the mic that I'm worried about. It's the cord. The cord is what I'm worried about. Yeah, I feel you on the cord thing. Yeah, I don't know if anyone else gets that, but like, yeah, I hate it. Sounds like OCD, not ADHD, but IDK. Yeah, I honestly think if I have anything, it's probably OCD, to be honest with you. Notably, one of the things that I heard once is common with OCD that stuck with me is, like, I didn't know that wasn't normal. Is if, like, even while wearing gloves, if I have to touch something gross, I have to, like, run really hot water over the part of my hands that touch that gross thing, because I feel like a sensation in that part of my, like, hand, for example, or the tips of my fingers, and I need to, like, make hot water almost, like, sear the sensation away. I don't know if anyone else gets that, but that is very much something I get. Like, if I have to wash my hands, or I physically feel a uncomfortable, like, I feel an uncomfortable sensation on my hands when they're dirty in any way. Like, I could have, like, like, when I'm super in my head about keeping my hands clean because I'm cooking or something, I can feel if my hands brushed on something that could be a contaminant, and the sensory feeling won't go away until I've like run some like hot water over it. That's not normal. If you get it too, that's what I thought when I heard about it being a thing with OCD. I was like, that's just how I am with touching gross things. Like even through gloves, even like sometimes if I think about touching something really gross, I have to wash that part of my hand just because the thought of it just feels better to wash my hands. I didn't know that was uncommon. Yo, Mr. Krabs, thank you for the $2 super chat. I really appreciate it. It says, here, a meme for you once I link it in your chat. Hell yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. There's the meme. Thank you for the $2 super chat. It means a lot. Oh, Hurricane Irma meme. This is an old meme. 7 years ago. Good God, man. Holy shit. 7 years ago.
Prepare for trouble. Make it double.
Real. Nut memes. That's so accurate. Nut memes is such a good name for a channel that was popular back in 2017. Yeah. Yeah, nut memes. Real. That is a real 2017 meme page name. For sure. I have a meme too? Alright, I'll check out your meme. What is this? Obama or diapers? I remember buying diapers. Do you think Donald Trump ever changed a diaper? Supporter his own Obama. I almost said that, but I decided I should not say it. What? Dude, is Obama just cooking and we aren't hearing about it?
Or a car seat. Or diapers. I remember buying diapers. I remember the first time I went in the store, right after Malia was born.
Saw how expensive they were?
That's how much diapers cost?
Yeah.
I remember changing diapers. You think Donald Trump ever changed a diaper?
No way. No way. Man, I miss Obama's wit. No wonder he won the presidency. You cannot beat this man's public speaking skills and charisma.
I almost said that, but I decided I shouldn't say it.
Dude, imagine adding on to Obama's joke, and then he responds to you. That guy, I hope there's a view where you can see him yelling that and getting pointed to, because no one's going to believe that guy. No one's going to believe that guy when he says, listen, that was me. Obama thought I was funny, and he used my, like, joke to riff off of during a speech. Like, no one's gonna believe that guy. Oh my god. Same, Heavy Gretel. Same.
Or a car seat.
Dude, if I have like my headphones in and someone tries to talk with me, dog. Listen, if I ever end up in jail for assault and you guys see those, like, that arrest log hit the... Just assume someone tried to talk to me while I had headphones on. Just assume that was what happened. I have to control my anger so much when someone tries to start a conversation with me when I have headphones on. It's like you can see that not only am I, like, occupied because I'm listening to something and can't hear you, but I have to stop listening to what I'm listening to, tune it out, and listen to you to start a conversation with you, and then lose my place in what I was listening to. I wasn't listening to music. I'm listening to, like, an audiobook or a podcast, usually. That shit. Ooh. Now that's ADHD coded? Dude. Oh, man. Talk about something that pisses me off. Good God. I genuinely think that, like, starting a conversation with headphones on, with someone who has headphones on, should be, like, prosecuted as harshly as first-degree, full-on rape. That's how I feel when someone tries to talk to me with headphones on. I feel raped, and I think they should be charged with the full extent of the law as if they had done so. I second the motion. Yeah, I don't want to switch tasks. Nor do I want to miss my place in what I was listening to. Because I usually listen to audiobooks. And, like, dude, getting your especially because I run my headphones from my Bluetooth down here. and I'll be listening to an audiobook, and my mom, when she visits, will try to start a conversation with me while I'm listening to an audiobook and doing something upstairs. It's like, just rewind back to where I was. I have to go all the way downstairs and click and rewind, and I know you're going to try to talk to me again the second I do that. It's like, God, that shit. Oh, that's a pet peeve for sure. Dude, I hate the term pet peeve. It's not an appropriate word for how viscerally angry those things make me. I feel like it should be called, like, I think Salmonella made this point. I think, like, pet peeves should have a more guttural name to, like, emphasize how it feels when you encounter them. Something like dick splitters, or, like, I honestly think it's just nice to say it really grinds my gears. That really works, honestly. Like, you know what really grinds my gears? That Family Guy bit really does work for that, though. It really does. Yo, Kevin Maurer, thank you for the $5 super chat. I didn't see that before. Thank you, thank you. Said, what is happening to Florida is what all Republicans say is happening to California. That's funny, actually. Literally burning down cities and like complete cities destroyed. The only places where that's happening right now are in red states run by Republicans, not in the blue states run by Democrats, where they claim riots are burning down cities. It's actually in the red states where they're living in squalor and cities are destroyed because they don't invest in infrastructure and they're run by Republicans who don't do anything to fight against what causes this or prepare for the symptoms of it because they refuse to believe the problem exists. My roommate pulled on my headphones and I almost punched them. Yeah, Sylvie DB, that's like straight up life forfeit at that point. If someone pulls on your headphones, they have forfeit all right to life at that point. Like, all human rights are out the window. I morally think you'd be okay to kidnap them and, like, lock them in your basement and just, I don't know, use them as experiments, like as a test dummy for horrible experiments on what the human body can endure. Like, seriously. Pulling out someone's headphones. Good God. Who's got that kind of nerve in 2024? Yeah, the double audio crossover is impossible to tolerate, Heavy Gretel. That shit is just awful. If there's a hell, it's just 500 TVs blaring all at once with different channels at different speeds and volumes, actually. That shit, oh my God. Just enough that it hasn't become white noise, though. If it's white noise, it's not as obnoxious as if it's, like, constant syllable changing and tone changes, and, like, you can hear every individual line of audio, but it's overwhelming you. Like, that's the really worst part. You know what really grinds my gears, Xandahal? The fact that Costco makes the milk jugs harder to open than pickle jars. That's true. They do that. They do that. Also, pickle jars being as hard to open as they are feels like it should be illegal. When I was a kid, I would try to open pickle jars, and I'd be so helpless about it. I'd be like, fuck. Like, what do I do? Do I go over to, like, the neighbor's house and ask if there's, like, a dad around to open this pickle jar? Because I was, like, 8, and I want some pickles, and it's like, I can't open this. And then eventually I just got really good at opening pickle jars because I had to figure it out. And so now I'm really good at opening those fuckers. I've got like 100 different methods to open a pickle jar that's really really obnoxious. Yeah, I even have those grippy pads to make it easier so you actually have a firm grip on it. But that'll only do so much. If it's really on there, firm grip is only going to help you so far. Sometimes you gotta, the spoon tapping method works, but sometimes you gotta like take it along the edge of the counter and slowly like push up all around. There's some that are meant to pop off, not twist off. Those are the annoying ones. The ones that pop off and then click back on. Dude, if you've ever had those, you gotta pry those things off with the edge of a counter or something. That's all that'll work. You can't twist it or pull it off with your hands. A friend of yours lost a finger to tennis cans. Jesus. Why do they can tennis balls like that? Like, I feel like it could not be that much harder to box them in, like, a tall box inside of, like, a plastic bag, you know? Like, you'll still get the fresh, new tennis ball smell. It'll still protect it from getting dirty, so it'll be, like, clean and new out of the box. I feel like if I hadn't had parents, I would have eventually gotten frustrated and broken the jar in the sink. Sadistic packaging, methinks? Yeah, it's got to be asshole design. There's some sort of demon at the company that sells tennis balls that gets off on the pain of people who lose their fingers trying to open up the new tennis ball cans. Yes, we'll can the tennis balls. It'll cost us more, but it'll increase general human suffering. All right. I'm gonna take myself a sippy of water, and then we're gonna start the next segment. By the way, chat, I'm curious, where's everyone watching from today? Huh, Zaworm Chills, you're not the only person to post that. I wonder what this account is all about. Sigma Activity Generational Hater. What account was this before? Dude. You know how I talked before about how Twitter accounts are getting bought out and hacked and turned into right-wing meme pages? Look how many of my followers follow this account that's apparently a Nazi account now. Obviously some meme pages, Hunter Avalon, The Click, Conspiracy Bullshit, Vosh, Wonder, Natalie, Munecat, Nate Talks to You, Reese Trees, Justin Wang, Harley Mornstein, and Ricky Berwick. It's weird, dude. This account must have gotten bought out or something. Because I definitely wouldn't have followed it as it is. Let's look into its history. I'm actually, like, morbidly curious about this. What is this account's deal? Oh, you know what I think this might have been? I think this might have been a popular workout page. And either the owner has rebranded to, like, become a conservative poster for the Twitter Blue money, or the account got sold or hacked. I think this is that one, like, Sigma Gains account that was, like, just a pretty wholesome, like, fitness poster and has now become a Nazi poster. Dude, what the hell? I'm scrolling back to see how far down their posts go. Like, when did this happen? Yeah, their posts are just normal here. When you get back to August, their posts are just completely normal. Breaking Bad meme. When life gives you pants, shit them. Yeah, this was clearly just like a meme page at one point. Dude, this is so sad. Like, we're watching live in real time as, like, meme accounts on Twitter get bought out and turn into Nazi accounts. That shit is sad. Well, they lost my follow even though I don't use this account. Or website even anymore. But they lost my follow. Sag. It's nice to see that the people in the replies and the quotes are hating on OP, though. Aw, man. Yeah, their engagement went down massively recently, which is a good sign that they used to post other shit and they did something. Like, they changed. I wish I could see what their old, like, account name and handle was. Like, if we could see, like, the edits made to the profile and see who they used to be. Not gonna lie, the pant-shitting post caught me off guard, lol. Well, yeah, it's one of their older posts. It used to be like a innocent meme page, and it got turned into a Nazi page. I should do a segment about that, like the accounts getting hacked on there that have a lot of followers and turned into Nazi accounts, so, like, all of a sudden you're following Nazi accounts. Through my life, all my favorite meme sources became alt-right. IDK where to go for memes anymore? Yeah. Yeah, the alt-right desperately wants to own and have a monopoly on the concept of memes. That is one of their biggest goals right now, is to own the concept of memes. Anyway. All right, everyone. You all know what to do when I say action, right? 3, 2, 1, action. All right, everybody. So, lately there has been a lot of discussion about how the Republicans are very evidently bought out by Russia. There have been releases from federal institutions showing that Russia has invested hundreds of millions of dollars into disinformation and pushing for Republicans to win elections here in America. And the fact that an adversarial nation wants this so badly should evidently on its own be a massive red flag for the entire party. Recently we had it come out. Oh my God, I've got such mush mouth today, guys. I'm so sorry. Recently it came out that a company called Tenet Media was taking immense amounts of money from Russia to pay its creators to promote Russian propaganda, particularly anti-Ukraine talking points that push the idea that the U.S. should stop funding Ukraine's defense of itself and instead focus those funds on some imaginary programs to help homeless veterans, which they never actually do or want to do or suggest a path to do or support doing whenever a politician runs that wants to do that. But they do suggest we should spend the money we spend on war or helping our allies, I should actually say, on that, but not actually, though. Just not spending it on our allies. And so conservatives have been pushing this a lot. Now we know they're funded by Russia in many cases. If not, they are... they should be getting paid by Russia if they're doing it for free, frankly, because they're doing a pretty good job at pushing what Russia wants. And there's been a lot more discussion lately about the effect and the impact that Russia's having on our elections and on our politics, and specifically what kind of ties Putin, the leader of Russia, has with Donald Trump. Because so far we've been able to prove in court that Donald Trump's highest advisors have had direct contact with Russia and direct involvement in breaking the law to try and get Trump elected with Russian collusion helping. However, Trump himself has never been 100% proven to be knowledgeable and involved, though more and more stuff due to recent investigations is coming out about that now, and that very well could change soon. Though, not confirmed yet, so just keep an eye out for it, is all I'm saying. However, a new story has hit that definitely lends some credence to the idea that Trump may have been fully aware that he was in Putin's pocket. The best case scenario is that he didn't know he was in Putin's pocket and acting in the favor of an adversarial world leader, but that seems less and less likely by the day, and the far more bad charitability interpretation of his actions becomes more obvious by the day. You see, the Kremlin claims that Trump sent COVID test machines to Putin. Former President Donald Trump sent coronavirus testing devices to Russian President Vladimir Putin at the height of the pandemic, the Kremlin claimed Wednesday in a statement. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov told NBC News that at the beginning of the pandemic, there was a shortage of various medical equipment, and of course, in the beginning, all the countries tried to swap some aid. We sent, quote, we sent artificial lung ventilators to the States, he said, adding that the Americans sent us several samples of those testing systems. As at that time, there were very few of them. Many countries did this. Sorry, reading, the Russian person speaking here, English second language, their grammar is not great when they speak, so reading it is kind of hard. The story was initially reported in War, a new book by veteran Washington Post journalist Bob Woodward, which reports on Trump and President Joe Biden's relationships with foreign leaders. The book claims that Trump secretly sent Abbott COVID-19 testing devices to Putin. When the machines were in short supply. NBC News has not been able to independently verify this. Peskov also denied Woodward's claim that Trump and Putin have spoken on the telephone several times since Trump left office. No, that's not true, he told Russian outlet RBC. Trump also denied the reporting in an interview with ABC News' Jonathan Karl. He's a storyteller, a bad one, and he's lost his marbles, Trump said of Woodward. In a separate statement to Bloomberg, Trump's re-election team accused the journalists of bias and said that none of these made-up stories by Bob Woodward are true. Now, I will admit, these are claims from a writer, though one that seems to have a pretty decent reputation. I think it's worth noting. Though I think it's important to point out, Trump is a serial liar and has so far indicated that you absolutely, certifiably cannot take anything he says at face value. He does not tell the truth, and we absolutely cannot take his word. How can we trust him? He may say that it's not true, but Donald Trump is a serial liar. We know for a fact he lies like he breathes. How can we trust him? Especially when his only response is just, nuh-uh. The book, which is set to be published on October 15th, raises questions about how Trump would handle the war in Ukraine if re-elected and whether he would continue to provide aid to the country. Trump has repeatedly said he could settle the war between Russia and Ukraine in one day if he's elected president again. But then he was asked about this claim in July, Russia's ambassador to the United Nations, Vasily Nebenzia, told reporters that the Ukrainian crisis cannot be solved in one day. The Republican nominee said last month that his relationship with Putin is very good. He said the same of his ties to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky when the two met at Trump Tower last month. I'm pretty sure Zelensky does not like Trump and just desperately is worried about what happens if he gets elected. Like, Zelensky is a president of a country under siege right now and needs the support of whatever president wins this election, regardless of who it is. So it doesn't surprise me if Zelensky is speaking to Kamala Harris a lot because, well, that's kind of Kamala Harris's job already. But also if he's speaking to Trump too, because Trump could also become the next president. And Trump is kind of running on the idea of revoking support for Ukraine. And yeah, I'd be scared if I was him. It's kind of his job to speak to the guy whenever he can. As a private citizen, Trump would need the sitting president's express permission to negotiate on behalf of the U.S. government, though. Woodward says in the book that senior advisor Jason Miller told him in July that he was not aware of any conversations between Trump and Putin, but should they wish to speak, they'd know how to get in touch with each other. That is absolutely a lie. Trump and Putin are tight, and everybody knows it. Anyone who tries to claim this, like, barely associated tie between Trump and Putin at this point is evidently lying. They're at least buddies. You have to at least bite that bullet and admit they like each other. That doesn't mean collusion. Like, you don't have to bite the bullet and say they're engaging in collusion, but if you're not willing to admit they clearly like each other, I'm not likely to believe your claims that there isn't collusion overtly, right? Trump's critics have long taken issue with his coziness with authoritarian leaders, including Putin. Trump has referred to Putin as a very savvy and a strong man and praised Russia's invasion of Ukraine as genius. That's true, by the way. That's true if you didn't know. Trump has let the mask slip numerous times. As congressional Republican leaders push President Joe Biden to act more forcefully to punish Vladimir Putin for sending troops into Ukraine, Governor GOP President Donald Trump, or former, oh my God, I'm so brain blasted today. I must be tired. God damn. Former, not governor, former GOP President Donald Trump and some of his prominent allies have been praising the Russian leader's style of power. The fissures point to a growing divide in the Republican Party between traditional foreign policy hawks who have advocated for a more confrontational U.S. posture to the Russian strongman and a Trump-aligned MAGA faction that has expressed some sympathy for Putin's tactics or described them as effective.
I went in yesterday and there was a television screen and I said, "This is genius. Putin declares a big portion of Ukraine. Putin declares it as independent. Oh, that's wonderful," Trump told a U.S. conservative podcaster in an interview published Tuesday. This is why for so long I've emphasized that Donald Trump is so bad. There have been times where he accidentally said what he plans to do when he gets elected, and I promise you, it involves flattening every last square inch of Gaza and developing it for real estate for his own personal gain and the personal gain of his dynasty, his family, like Jared Kushner and his kids, and to revoke all support for Ukraine so Russia and his buddy Putin can take the entire country and annex it like they want to. Donald Trump is fully in the pocket of Putin, whether he realizes it or not. Now, apparently Kamala Harris actually got the chance to hit back
reporting about the secret
on this news story coming out, by the way. She has apparently spoken on it, so I have not seen this yet, but I'm interested to see how she's responded, because this is a fairly strong point to hit on. For a while now, the Republicans have done an absurd job an absurdly good job, I should specify, at gaslighting the average American into thinking the idea of Russian collusion or Russian election interference is like a massive, it's like the left-wing equivalent of Trump claiming he won the election and that he lost to fraud. People genuinely view it that way, when in reality, this is just another piece of evidence that the Republican Party actually is bought out by the Russian government, and that the Russian government has a clear, open, vested interest in the Republicans winning for some reason. You can think about it if you like, and they're willing to invest shitloads of money in it. That's a good reason, if I've ever seen one. Like, Russia is confident that Republican victories are good for them if they're willing to invest as much money as they do. So let's see Kamala Harris hit on this herself, and yeah, I'm excited to see what she has to say.
Explosive new reporting about the secret relationship Trump has been carrying on with Vladimir Putin. One that we now know tonight includes as many as 7 private phone calls since Trump left office. Another revelation tonight is a bit bizarre, and that is that Trump sent Putin individual COVID tests at the height of COVID. Now, according to legendary journalist Bob Woodward's new book, those tests were...
This is as thousands of Americans are dying, tens and if not hundreds of thousands more are getting infected, and like America is succumbing to the bat. This is just another example of, at the best, most charitable interpretation, Trump's inept caretaking of the country during COVID. That is the most charitable interpretation you can have of this, is that this is just an example of Trump not knowing how to run a country during a pandemic.
Sent to Putin during the height of the pandemic in 2020, right? When gosh, nobody could get a hold of tests. Now, during a call at the time, Putin tells Trump, quote, "Please don't tell anybody you sent these to me." And Trump replies, and Woodward's the one putting quotes around this.
I don't care,
fine. Putin says, no, I don't want you to tell anybody because people will get mad at you, not me. They don't care about me. Now, Trump sending Putin personal COVID tests is at the least fascinating. I mean, how did they get
crazy, dude? What? Dude, these personal texts are insane. What? This is the claim from the book War by Bob Woodward. If this Bob Woodward guy is right, oh my god, dude, that's insane. The only reason that so many places would be reporting on this book is if this guy has generally been legit in the past. I'm wondering if we should do like a dive into the guy's resume after this, like at the end of the segment here, and see if like he has a good record in the past to see how legit these claims could be. Because the way it's being taken seems like the guy has a good record. Like, he's not just some nobody putting out a book. Like, people take him seriously.
Putin says, no, I don't want you to tell anybody because people will get mad at you, not me. They don't care about me. Now, Trump sending Putin personal COVID tests is at the least fascinating. I mean, how did they get...
Guys, he was one of the original Watergate reporters. Okay, all right, that makes sense why this is being taken seriously. He's the kind of guy who busts these cases wide open to the public. He's that kind of guy. He's that motherfucker. He's him. Okay, that makes sense why this is being taken as gospel so quickly.
To Putin, who knew about them? Did Trump send them to other world leaders, or was this just special for Putin? And then did Putin really use COVID tests sent from America, putting his DNA on them? I mean, what was this about? Well, today, Vice President Kamala Harris had this to say about it.
In the height of the pandemic, and remember, and your listeners will remember, people were dying by the hundreds.
Yeah.
Everybody was scrambling to get these kits, the tests, the COVID test kits.
Couldn't get them.
Right. Couldn't get them anywhere.
Right.
And this guy who is president of the United States is sending them to Russia, to a murderous dictator for his personal use? You're getting played. And some would say, look, I grew up in the neighborhood.
She's cooking.
Some would say you're getting punked.
Yeah.
If you stand in favor of somebody who's an adversary over your friend.
I do have to say, though, I wish that she had not said I grew up in the neighborhood. It would have been funnier if she just went all in. That would have been a clip for sure. Background music still playing, Zan? Can you still hear the video? Like, the background music's fine to still be playing as long as you can still hear the video. It's kind of meant to be just, like, quiet and chill in the background.
Friends on principles that we all agree on.
Now, the Trump campaign responding to these claims in an angry fashion.
That is a good... That is a very concise way to put it, though. If you vote for Trump, you're just getting punked. Like, Donald Trump is in the pocket of a foreign adversary, and he is a tool of a foreign adversary, and if you vote for him, you're fucking yourself over, and you're the one doing it, really. You're casting the vote that is going to fuck you. You're punking yourself. It's a pretty straightforward way to put it, honestly.
Read part of the statement. None of these made-up stories by Bob Woodward are true and are the work of a truly demented and deranged man who suffers from a debilitating case of Trump derangement syndrome. Woodward is an angry little man and is clearly upset.
Dude, I love this term they use. It's actually made like a resurgence recently. Trump derangement syndrome being used for anyone who doesn't like Trump. I had someone in the comments of one of my new videos recently talking about I was covering the stuff coming out about Trump and Epstein's connections. And if you're wondering, the most recent reply from a Trump supporter was, "Oh yeah, I've heard of this Xander Hall guy." Like, as if he's not commenting on my video, like he's like commenting on a Reddit post about me or something. He says, "Oh yeah, I've heard about this Xander Hall guy with an extreme case of Trump derangement syndrome." It's like, you know what? If subhuman dumb fucks like this guy think that I have Trump derangement syndrome, then I am doing everything right. I need to keep it the fuck up.
Because President Trump is successfully suing him because of the unauthorized publishing of recordings he made previously. It was just a little taste of the statement.
Jesus. Less than 14 hours. Dude, what is that autoplay? You didn't have to hit me with that instant autoplay on the next unrelated video. Jesus Christ. Unnecessary. But yeah, I mean, the Republicans are just bought out by an adversarial nation. And we're also watching as, like, the new Axis powers forms. Iran, China, North Korea, Russia. These countries are coming together, and they are very much not friendly with America at all whatsoever. They have a strong vested goal in having Trump and other Republicans win because they recognize they are enemies, are smart enough to recognize that we're weakened from the inside by Republican victories and Republican leadership. They recognize that we're weaker on the world stage in such a way that it weakens our allies. It weakens Ukraine. It weakens the EU if we have Republicans running things. They're inept when it comes to providing aid. They might even just withdraw it for the sake of popular demand due to some culture war thing. They're volatile and destructive to the country, which is ideal for adversarial nations that would absolutely be in all-out war with us if they thought they could genuinely win. And that the only reason why we're talking with these world leaders is because they can't win a full-on war with us without it ending badly for everyone involved. Anyway, if you enjoyed this segment, found it enjoyable, funny, or hell, even entertaining, or perhaps educational, consider dropping a like. Every thumbs up on my videos or streams goes a long way to boost my channel in the algorithm, as does commenting down below and subscribing and ringing the bell icon to turn on all notifications so that YouTube actually tells you when I go live or upload a new video, because believe me, they won't do it otherwise. And of course, if you want to see more stuff from me on other platforms, you can follow my social medias, all linked down below in the description. And if you want to join my fan Discord, the main hub of my community and fan base, it's totally free to do so through the link down below. And I host game events, call-in streams, and watch parties there, one I'll be hosting tomorrow, by the way. We're watching the first 3 episodes of From in the watch party in the Discord tomorrow, so be there. And of course, if I also announce all my new uploads and streams there too, so if YouTube bugs out, then at least you have my Discord to fall back on as a backup. Finally, though, if you want to help me keep a roof above my head and the lights on here at the Xander Hall studio, then please consider, if you can afford it and you feel like it, donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or supporting me financially through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buying merch at the Streamlabs link down below. Though regardless of how you support me, even if you're just a lurker who hasn't liked or commented anything, I really do appreciate you watching. I hope to see you again, and have a good one. How do you guys like that segment? I feel like it came out pretty good. I feel like it came out pretty darn good, dude. I only got one more segment on the docket for us today, which is honestly a good thing 'cause it's already 8 p.m., which is pretty late, and I'm fully out of Monster. I don't know if you guys can tell from how tired I seem, but I'm fully out of Monster and have been for days. I am on a multi-day, like day 3 of full-on 100% cold turkey caffeine withdrawal right now. Good segment. Keep the Trump derangement syndrome going. Real. Zan, do you have time for one more meme? Sure, let's check out this meme. Russian plants. This is a good meme. This is a good meme. I like it. Jill Stein is indeed a Russian plant. Literally anybody who is not fighting to get Democrats elected should be assumed a Russian plant until otherwise, honestly. Like, with the current state of this country and the politics landscape that we're in, let's be real. That's low-key the situation we're in. I got to see the Northern Lights tonight. They look so good. Yeah, were you in Pittsburgh? I don't think they're visible here in Washington. I certainly don't see anything out my window. I don't know if I'd be able to tell anyway, but I saw a news report that in Pittsburgh, people can see the Northern Lights. Nah, Canada. Yeah, there must be a big coronal flare of some kind hitting the Earth from the sun. That goes pretty hard. Eastern Canada. Cool. Yeah, it seems the East Coast got hit with this one. The Northern Lights are quite pretty. I've never seen them before myself. I've seen like a faint glow once when they managed to reach down to Florida one time due to like some big event that happened. Like you could apparently see them in Florida. It was insane. But I noticed maybe the sky was a little green, but that was it. And then there was supposed to be Northern Lights here, but I just saw the sky being a little bit like green, I think, but it was cloudy, so I haven't been able to see them full on, sadly. Oh, no, I don't think it was in Florida. I think I was in Tennessee. I think it was like, because I remember being a kid and I assumed I'd be in Florida. I think I was in Tennessee and you could see them while I was there, but I didn't get to. I don't at least remember getting to or being impressed by seeing them, so. Yeah, I'm hoping to go on like some kind of Arctic cruise one day or something like that so I can see the Northern Lights in all of their glory. Or maybe go to like Greenland or Norway, somewhere where they like really appear all the time and you can just like stay in a hotel or a cabin. Dude, there are these, here's a brief stun lock you guys will enjoy. They make these, like, glass dome places that you can stay in. Glass Northern Light Rentals. Dude, these things are crazy. These are the things you want to see the Northern Lights in. Cool. These are made to see the Northern Lights from.
Can't feel my Heidi.
Hello,
from Seattle, my best bet is
friends,
Alaska.
welcome
Yeah,
to
for sure.
another video. This week, we're gonna be staying in a glass
Look at
igloo in the
these.
Arctic Circle. I think it's gonna be kind of like glamping, but really, really, really cold.
Now, as some of you guys may know, we've been on a bit of a strange hotel or unusual accommodations kick.
That's in
See
Florida,
our
that
recent
underwater
video
one.
about staying in a hotel made completely of ice?
I said, hey, let's hit the slab.
And this week, we are tackling something that I've been seeing on the internet for years, the glass igloos in Finland, that people stay in to view and sleep under the Northern Lights. I think I've been seeing videos and photos of them on my Instagram and TikTok
hard.
feed since at least 2020, and I've always wanted to go and try them out. First off, they look really, really pretty.
They gotta
I've
be
never
cold,
seen the
though,
Northern
right?
Lights before,
I don't
and I've
see
also
any
never
central
stayed in a
heating.
human-sized terrarium before, but they look so cute and cozy and
I mean, they're
covered in snow in
greenhouses,
every picture
but-
I see of them. Which leads me to wonder, are they cozy? Is it freezing cold in there? What's it like in there? What is there to do in there? And how do you even get there? All questions we will answer.
I feel like if you got a space heater and hooked it up to a power bank and ran it, like especially if you ran it in the evening, like when you're done going out of the little like igloo for the day, if you could get like 10 minutes of running a space heater, like the one I've got right there next to me, like if you could run that for 10 minutes in that little thing, that thing's going to be toasty for the whole night. Especially, like, and that's when you'd need it, because the heat from the sun should warm it up during the day. I feel like you could heat that pretty easily with, like, portable power stuff. And if it's sunny out, you can use solar power. to charge it.
Sir, in this video, because during our recent Nordic/Scandinavian travel trip, we decided to stop in Finland to stay in a glass igloo, sleep under the stars, and figure all this out.
And hopefully see some northern lights in the process. Any at all. Even just one single light would be fine.
Also, this does mark the end of our Nordic/Scandinavian series, so comment down below where you...
Anyway, I just wanted to show you what the things look like. They're pretty cool. They're pretty dope. I thought you guys would think that was pretty neat. I figure I should show it to you. Is there Wi-Fi? I don't know, but you might be able to get, like, Starlink, which fuck Elon Musk and stuff, but I do have some friends that had literally garbage, like, awful internet where they couldn't do anything on it pretty much for years, and recently a couple of them got Starlink, and now for the first time they're able to play games and be in a Discord call with us at the same time. And sometimes even click in to watch a screen share on Discord, which was, like, impossible on their old satellite internet. Now they've got Starlink in it, and it's like opening a whole new world to them. So fuck Elon Musk and all that, but Starlink has also been pretty damn useful, apparently. I have no idea what that... Oh, they look green. Wait, they look white in person, not green, because your rod cells activate, not your cone cells? Huh? You might just be colorblind or something, Circuit Dog. Do the northern lights look not green in real life? They look white? Nah. Nah, there's no way they just look white. You're trolling me, because you know I've never seen them with my own eyes, so I can't confirm. I've seen pink northern lights. They kind of looked like a dim red. Dude, that's so weird to me. I get how that could happen, but I gotta see the northern lights myself to know. I do hope at least Starlink actually survives whenever they decide to remove Elon Musk because of how he took the red pill and his ketamine problem. Yeah. His ketamine problem. The red pill was the ketamine, actually. Okay. All right, guys. Bases. Okay, guys. Are you ready to see some funny shit? This is a funny story. I only heard about this a few days ago. I don't know how this managed to fly under the radar for so long, but now we finally know. Are y'all ready? I hope you are. Brace yourselves. You all know what to do when I say action, right? 3, 2, 1, action. All right, everybody. The time has come once again to talk about one of the most shameless and open grifters on all of YouTube. I really do believe that this guy kind of represents the lowest common denominator of anti-woke content. He's been doing this for so long, I'm genuinely surprised he's still kicking it around these days. Like, I honestly, years ago, thought that by now, his channel would be a fraction of the size, especially with how many clips of him there are out there. Like, just being so embarrassing, from pissing in his basement on stream to like in some drain in the corner or something, to like on stream telling cuck fantasies about Gina Carano and like fantasizing about Brie Larson cucking him as well, I think, in different clips. Like, he suppressed these clips quite well. Like, he'll copyright strike you if you just upload the raw clip somewhere. So to be fair, he has buried a lot of this stuff and it's been memory hold. But despite that, just looking at his content, it's so evidently just so low effort and so cringe. Like, and listen, I'm a live streamer who uploads live stream clips. For me to call content low effort and shameless, like, just content, like, it takes a lot, right? This guy is really not putting anything of value out there, and the low effort of his content and the amount of views and money it's making, it's just so shameless, man. The person we're talking about is the Quartering. I feel like he's like the genuinely perfect representation of the lowest common denominator in conservative politics. He does seem to be getting a lot less views since he's focusing so hard in the election, and conservatives don't care about that. Like, you can tell his videos talking about culture war stuff get more views. Man, if he doesn't stop talking about the election, this shit's gonna kill his channel. Like, the woke FEMA blasted Hurricane Helene support puts diversity and inclusion first before saving lives. Donald Trump humiliates... He's got an AI-generated image of Donald Trump wearing a cape and holding a sword in the thumbnail, saying, "Aren't you so entertained? Some say the most entertained." Like, genuine garbage content. An AI-generated ripped Joe Rogan in military gear holding a sniper rifle. Like, a lot of these thumbnails are AI generated. And that's kind of where a lot of the cringe comes from. If you don't know, Styx Hexenhammer is actually an open Nazi, like an open JQer Nazi that he is publicly friends with, which is actually kind of the perfect segue into the news that has broken recently. Apparently, the Quartering was a co-founder and used to help run a white supremacist propaganda website called The Publica. And you can see from some of the most recent stories an idea of the kind of things that this site focused on. Non-binary Oregon State University professor steps down after being accused of faking mixed-race Black Indigenous Two-Spirit identity. Do you want to guess that story probably isn't true? I'm going to guess because none of those words are in the Bible that this story is not true. German city tells residents to strike up a conversation with criminal migrants and encourage them to stop committing crimes. Transgender Wikipedia editor labels Pakistani grooming gang scandal a far-right moral panic. Oh, for those that don't remember, back in the day, like back in 2016, if you didn't know, you couldn't go to any Nordic countries because if you did, then Pakistani grooming gangs would come and rape you. And basically what they did was the fact that Nordic countries tend to categorize every instance of sexual assault or rape as a separate crime. Unlike many other countries where they just count it as one crime, even if it was like 100 rapes carried out over a long term of like grooming and abuse, it's all just categorized as like one count generally. And so because it's considered a separate crime and is charged separately every time it's committed, even by the same person on the same person, a lot of these countries have massively inflated rates of rape and sexual assault. And the right use this fact that these countries take these problems more seriously than we do in America to claim that these countries actually had a worse problem than America does. And of course, because there has to be brown people or gays or some minority that is the evil bad guy to panic over, they said it was these Pakistani grooming gangs. And I need you to understand, this was the talking point of 2016, 2017 alt-right, like, YouTube. Like, you were genuinely supposed to believe that if you stepped foot into, like, Germany or, like, Norway or Sweden, that you would be ganged up on and raped if you went to, like, a public pool or something immediately if you're a white woman. And that the police could do nothing about it because the police were afraid of being canceled for being viewed as racist. That was a genuine claim. Germany. Train conductors told to skip foreigners during ticket checks so they won't become violent. So you can see here, this is like legitimately like an alt-right website. Like this is all how like gays and brown people are evil. Migrant who avoided deportation following rape conviction now in custody for brutal murder of French teen. Ireland, supermarket chain forced to pay Muslim employee $5,000 for unfair dismissal after firing him over sexual assault conviction. Let's just start to Google some of these stories and see if any of them are real. Like, do you want to see if, like, let's see if any of these are not AI generated. Because, like, they could just be AI generated stories. Everything that comes up is from the Publica. But Ground News, let's see if Ground News is based and actually fact-checked this story. No tracked information about this website. Really? So this is literally the only place that it's talked about on is the Publica. There's some Twitter links. r/conservative a week ago. No, like actually, they might have just made up this story with AI. They legitimately might have made up this story with AI. These might not even be real people. These both might be AI-generated people, and this picture could be an AI-generated Aldi, or just a stock Aldi image. It probably is, to be fair. I don't think these stories... These might be totally AI-generated stories. India, troop of heroic monkeys stop man from raping 6-year-old girl. A troop of monkeys in India attacked a man who was attempting to rape a little girl, stopping the assault in its tracks, according to a report from the Times. I want to believe that could be true, because monkeys are pretty intelligent, and I feel like they might... But at the same time, animals do not recognize rape as a bad thing, or like stigmatize it. Animals rape all the time. Animals don't have like that kind of social like status, as far as I know, where they like, yeah, they just do that. I'm pretty sure like ducks do that a lot. So this story sounds like bullshit. This is like anthropomorphizing of animals to a degree that's just unbelievable to me. Like, monkeys won't recognize what rape is and then see a child and then want to protect them from that. Like, they're not that intelligent, you know? They're animals at the end of the day, even if they are monkeys. I don't believe that story. So are these AI generated or just like rumor mill shit? Ugandan migrant will be allowed to stay in the UK after murdering a man in the back of an ambulance after court deems deportation inhumane. 70-year-old Swedish grandmother sentenced to prison after selling baked goods on Facebook on one occasion. A Swedish grandmother will be jailed for over 1 month after she baked her municipality's orders to stop selling her beloved baked goods on Facebook. The unnamed woman, 70, unnamed woman. Interesting how there's no name to search. It seems a lot of these seem to say unnamed. There's no names mentioned here. Let's see about the, Mohammed Kashif is how I think it's pronounced. Aldi. Let's see if any news stories come up. BreakingNews.ie Ireland? Okay, this seems to be possibly legit, though everything that comes up is from tabloid sites. So this is very much like a tabloid news story, but it might be real, if not pretty badly reported. This could be a real situation. Rape culture is very real, and a lot of women end up, like, being sexually assaulted and no justice is done. But this isn't like evidence for why brown people are bad, like the site is suggesting. This is evidence for why Me Too is so important, which, by the way, is something that this group of people who started this site oppose. So why are they like virtue signaling about sexual assaults and rape and how it means that brown people are bad when they actively fight against Me Too? Irish police fought to protect the identity of an Indian national accused of attempting to kidnap a 5-year-old in Dublin. Canada. Quebec introduces policy to allow doctors to euthanize patients who gave advance consent to die. You'll notice that these stories are all, like, just the next culture war point that they talk about, right? They either center around the idea of a liberal democratic country being authoritarian and evil and killing people, or allowing brown people to kill their people and being too woke and afraid to do anything about it. Judge orders victim of Pakistani grooming gang to delete her request to have her rapist deported. A woman who was groomed and raped by a Pakistani gang as a young child was told by a judge to remove a request for her abusers to be deported. The Pakistani grooming gang thing was literally made up. By the way, if they wanted to find like a group of minorities to attack, it would actually be North Africans. If you're looking at like Nordic countries and for a high rate of immigrant crime or sexual assault, you would be looking at like North African immigrants, not Pakistan. So they didn't even like pick, like they could have picked a group of immigrants to attack on this basis and at least had their facts right, but they don't even care enough about the truth to recognize that like Pakistanis are not the ones out there doing these crimes out of like groups of immigrants that are at the highest rate to do it. Like they aren't even looking at the real problem if there is a race-based issue here. Like they're so stupid they can't even racism right. Afghan migrant was granted Swedish citizenship after raping multiple women, cannot be deported as a result. Damn. I'm sure that's real. UK Charities offers swimming, surfing lessons to refugees to help them overcome sea trauma. Okay, so this is just framing anything good as evil. 13-year-old Canadian girl dies of overdose after being supplied with drug paraphernalia as part of a government harm reduction policy. A 13-year-old girl has tragically died of a suspected drug overdose while living in a homeless tent encampment in Abbotsford, British Columbia. Brianna McDonald's family says the girl was provided the drugs. They're saying a 13-year-old Canadian girl died of an overdose after being supplied with drug paraphernalia as part of the government's harm reduction policies. Let's Google this one. Brianna McDonald. Let's Google this one. Parents say involuntary care expansion came too late for daughter. Mom says Brianna McDonald, 13, who died of a suspected overdose in Abbotsford, couldn't get the help she needed. The province's plans to expand involuntary care to include severe addiction has come too late for a 13-year-old girl who died of suspect... Okay, these people are evil. I truly believe everyone running this site should... I can't say these things online without getting a knock at my door, can I? Ooh. Well, yeah, basically they're framing the story of... the government's harm reduction policies not like being able to save her because they've been fought against and held back and haven't passed soon enough, as being they provided her the drug paraphernalia she used to OD. The people running this site are genuinely monstrous. We already knew this, but like the fact that they're willing to use the death of a child to promote the thing that killed the child is God, I knew they were that evil. I always knew they're that bad, and they just want children and innocent people to die. But man, just seeing it proven to be true over and over again, it's hard to fight off the anger that it fills me with. British woman arrested after reporting sexual assault to police. Do you guys think that's real? Do you guys think that's real? British woman arrested because she reported a sexual assault to the police. I'm gonna guess that story is not real. I'm gonna guess it's not illegal to report a rape because the rapist was brown in the UK. I'm going to guess that's not the case. Canadian woman arrested for assault with a weapon after accidentally spraying her neighbor with a water gun. Does the people running this site know how assault charges works? If you spray someone with a liquid, it doesn't matter if it's water. If you spray someone with a liquid or spill liquid on them intentionally, and that person presses charges against you, then yeah, then you get charges pressed against you, and you get arrested. Doesn't mean that you're going to be sent to prison and found guilty of the crime. That's just how the law works. If someone hits you, the same process happens. This is just taking advantage of people not understanding the world. UK rapist released due to prison overcrowding, arrested on suspicion of rape seconds after walking free. That one I do believe could be possible, but I also don't know if it's likely that rapists are being let out of prison because of prison overcrowding. Also, crime has dropped massively, at least in America, recently. So I don't know if, like, we would be seeing crowded prisons in the UK right now. I don't think there's been like a massive crime jump in the UK, has there? German police reportedly covered up the rape of a 12-year-old girl by Syrian refugee who was allowed to walk free after arrest. So I need you guys to understand, a lot of far-right propaganda is just this. Heavily selecting for maybe a handful of these stories that are true in order to create a narrative. The idea that all these stories aren't being covered by the mainstream media, that must mean they're trying to hide it. And if this many things are happening that are being supported by and pushed by the woke agenda, then imagine how much stuff we can't even report on. That's the perspective that's supposed to be given here. Every worldview you could derive from these news stories directly contradicts everything that data, studies, facts, scientific, criminological, and data-driven consensus would suggest to you. And yet, you are meant to have this biased, inaccurate worldview derived from these videos because, I mean, go back to 2016 and watch any conservative, like, anti-SJW YouTuber do a debate and see how quickly they suggest that YouTube videos are an accurate, equally accurate view of how the world works as data. Like, I will never forget the debate between Destiny and Count Dankula, where back and forth, Destiny asks Count Dankula, I'm talking about data here. I'm talking about crime statistics. You're talking about videos, hundreds of videos, I guess you've seen, of different protests and rallies, and you claim the left is more violent, but the data suggests otherwise. He's just like, I'm telling you, man, I've just seen so many videos, like hundreds of videos, man. Like, the data must just be wrong. Like, back in the day, these conservative pundits would openly admit they get that the data doesn't match and align with what they say, and they just think there's a conspiracy to cover up that data, and that reflects what they believe is true. And the only thing you can trust now are YouTube videos. Lauren Southern famously said as well in a debate with Destiny that data is the plural of anecdote, in defense of her using YouTube videos as evidence when, like, the data directly opposes the claim she's making. This is just a propaganda site, and a white supremacist propaganda site too. This is specifically like great replacement shit. It's supposed to push you against like immigration and like make you hate brown people. Like, that is what this site is centered around, and the Quartering helped run this site and helped found it. So when I talk about how these content creators are really just sacks of shit that are either really far right and grifting to pretend to be centrist to appeal to like a center to moderate leaning right wing audience in order to get like as much popularity and views as possible, or that they are themselves moderate conservatives grifting to the far right to build as much of a fanatical fan base as possible and grift off of them, it is always the case. I have rarely found conservative pundits in the right-wing space on YouTube that have been honest and not just spewing what they know is bullshit for money. It's so depressing. What's the name of the website? Like I said before, the website's called The Publica. I find it very interesting that when you look up any of these news stories as well, the only sources that come up are The Publica, or occasionally a couple of tabloid websites that themselves have very shoddy reporting. It seems like they might just be straight up making up stories. And when they can find a story that fits their narrative, they'll use it, if it's true. But when they can't, they just make shit up, it seems. That is unironically how my brother argues with me. Yeah, conservatives are the types of people who cannot build a worldview around data. They need anecdotes and stories and videos and news stories to get mad about, to attach their views to. They don't care about whether or not the majority of people are experiencing a certain thing. If one person went through a thing that made them really mad when they saw a video of it online, and now their politics and their vote are going to be based on how mad they got when they saw that YouTube video. A lot of conservatives think like that. It is very, very depressing, honestly. But yeah, with all that said, if you enjoyed this segment and you found my coverage of this whole thing interesting, if you found my my coverage of it even entertaining or perhaps educational, consider leaving a like. Every thumbs up, whether you're watching live or on a video when it goes out after the fact really helps the channel a lot. Literally in real time pushes my content out in the algorithm to more people and gets me more views and new subs, and it means a lot. Helps a ton. Consider subscribing, commenting down below, and ring the bell icon to turn on all notifications so YouTube actually tells you when I go live or upload a new video. And follow my social medias linked down below if you want to see more stuff from me on other platforms too. It really does mean a lot to me. And perhaps even join my fan Discord link down below as well if you want to join the main hub of my fan base and community and, be a part of the fan events, the watch parties, the game call-in streams and stuff that I do in the Discord. I also announce all my new uploads and streams there, so if YouTube bugs out, then at least you have my Discord as a backup. I'm also hosting a watch party tomorrow. We're doing the first 3 episodes of Season 3 of From, so be sure to be there or be square. And of course, if you want to go the extra mile and you feel like doing so and you can afford it and you want to help me keep a roof above my head and the lights on here at the Xander Hall studio, then consider donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buying merch in the Streamlabs link down below. Regardless, though, of how you support me, even if you're just a lurker who doesn't comment or say anything or like, and you just watch the streams, I really appreciate you being here. I hope to see you again, and have a good one. I hope you guys like that segment. How do I get my friend away from that? He's fallen to wanting deportation and thinks people shouldn't cross illegally. Talks about how his friend has seen the undocumented gangs in NY. Yeah, it's always someone... They always have a friend who has seen the things that they claim are a real problem that no data or, like, credible institution or anything backs up is real. There's always that one friend who's totally seen it themselves, and that's why they believe it. Or they claim they've seen it themselves. They're very brazen. Xander Hall, apparently I was wrong. The aurora only looks white if it's far away, like it was for me. If it's right above you and intense enough, it looks green. Okay, that makes sense. I figured, like, someone would have told me by now that's not what the auroras look like when I see it on video. Like, I would have heard it somewhere. That's not really how it looks with your eye. Red Scare, thank you so much for the $10. I really appreciate that. Extremely kind of you. It means a lot. Thank you, thank you. Helps a ton. Said, no memes here, just dollars. I really appreciate that. That means so much. Thank you, thank you. You guys have been so generous today. That was the last segment of the day, so I'm going to be wrapping things up in a little bit, but I feel I should talk with you guys for a little while before I wrap up stream. I started a little late today, so stream's not as long as usual, though it is still 3.5 hours. It's still decent, like, length stream, you know. 3.5 hours isn't nothing, you know. We got a good amount of segments done and stuff, and I feel like most people are enjoying things, and it's getting late for a lot of people, so I'd say it's pretty good timing as far as the stream goes, but I do want to chill with you guys for just a minute and wind down with you guys, talk to you, see how you guys like the stream, and of course hype you up for tomorrow's stream, because I will be streaming tomorrow as well, and afterwards, at the end of the stream, I will be funneling you all into the watch party in my Discord server so we can watch the Season 3 premiere of From. I kid you not, guys, if you have not watched From already, I want you tonight to find from MGM Plus somewhere on the internet to watch for free. It's ideal if you pay to watch it, like, properly, because you'll really want to support this show, but if you can't, I get it. It's expensive. Find the show, watch the first episode. That's all I ask. Watch the first episode, because I guarantee you, when you finish the first episode, you'll have made the decision by the end of it that you're staying up all night to catch up on the show all the way up to Season 2, so you can join the watch party tomorrow and watch Season 3. It will hook you that hard before you have finished Episode 1. Like, early on in Episode 1, you'll have decided, okay, I'm staying up to watch all 2 seasons tonight. You will do this. I highly recommend you do it, if you have not already, so you can come to the watch party tomorrow. When everyone in this chat talks about how great this show is, and when I talk about how great this show is, we are not exaggerating. My media takes are very good as opposed to Vosh's. I highly recommend you take my advice here. Just watch the first episode. Just the first episode. It's all I ask that you watch. Watch the first 20 minutes of the first episode. Watch the first 10 minutes of the first episode, and you'll be hooked. Once you've watched the opening of the first episode, you're in. It's as simple as that. Watch the opening scenes of the first episode. Like, up until the moment where the intro credits roll. That is the point in which you'll have made the decision, and I am not even joking. It is that good. It's only up from there, too. I've already seen season 3's first 3 episodes, Circuit Dog. That's why I'm hyping people up. Like, season 3 continues to raise the bar for the show's quality. It's so good. So yeah, I really hope to see a lot of you at the watch party tomorrow. Wahoo! I have theories I want to share tomorrow. Me too, Ride the Rails. Me too. I've certainly got some theories I want to share. I wrote up paragraphs in a Reddit post on the From subreddit that I really want to read out once we've watched all 3 episodes of Season 3 that have come out so far. I'm going to read my post. It actually went pretty viral on the From series subreddit. So I hope you guys are excited to see my my theories, because they're pretty crazy. But well substantiated, I think. I don't like live-action media, especially if mature. Straw Hat Monty, give the opening of the first episode a chance. That's all I ask. You don't have to watch even the whole show or even a whole episode. Watch the opening of 1 episode, see how it makes you feel, and act on those feelings. That's all I ask. If it bores you or isn't for you or freaks you out or grosses you out too much, click out and don't watch. The show's not for you. You're not going to like it anymore after the first 15 minutes or the first 10 minutes. But watch those first like 5 to 10 minutes of the show up until the moment where the intro credits roll, where it's like playing the song by the Pixies. And if you don't like the show by that point, if you don't feel like continuing the episode and watching more episodes, then don't. But I think you're going to want to. I don't think I need to sell you on anything after you watch the first, like the opening. I just need to get you to watch the opening on your own time, and all the pieces will fall into place from there. I assure you. Show chat the trailer. The trailer for episode 1? Sure. I'll show chat the trailer for season 1 of From. It's been a long time. And it'll help to get some people into the show. Maybe they binge it tonight so they can show up to the watch party and be caught up. This trailer, honestly, does not do the show justice in hindsight. Like, rewatching the show recently, it's so fucking good. This trailer is like... It's one of those situations where you watch a show and it's really, really, really good, or a movie and it's really, really good, and you decide to go watch the trailer that you'd never seen, and you're just like, man, I wouldn't have watched the movie if I had seen this trailer. I don't know if I would have watched it, because it doesn't really get across how good it is, you know? But I think this trailer does a good enough job. It's just, I don't know. I feel like it normifies the show a bit. The show doesn't feel like a lot of other shows, and it's like the trailer frames it and edits it like other shows are, and it's just, it feels out of place for the kind of unique show this show is, basically. Have I seen Severance? No, I haven't, but I do plan to watch it one day. I heard it's good. Here's the trailer.
Hey!
Yeah, the show is built
down
different.
in a storm or something.
It's a pretty selective storm. What are they doing? Can we just leave, please? Jim!
In this dirty old part of the city.
Maybe we missed the sign for the highway.
We didn't miss the sign.
When the sun refused to shine.
Can I help you? We got on a detour off the highway and cell service.
Nothing bad ever happens in this show.
Yeah.
Ever.
I was wondering if you could point me in the direction of the highway.
Not a problem.
They're back.
God damn it.
Jim, we're driving in circles. You drove out this way. How did we get back here? Oh my God!
I lied about nothing bad ever happening, by the way.
Okay? This is impossible.
Yeah, it is.
Where are we?
I know none
They
of this
can't
makes
leave.
sense yet. Everyone in this town has been exactly where you are right now. Everyone sees the tree. Those throws. We'll just get out of here, please.
Kevin, we are stuck.
We didn't come here. We were brought. What are you doing?
I'm checking to see if they moved.
If what moved?
The trees.
It's important for you to understand what happens after dark.
Lock your door. Nail your window shut. You do these things, your family's gonna be safe.
Safe from what?
I've missed you so much.
Megan, what are you doing?
Maybe I can come in.
This is what happens.
Nothing bad happens.
When you break the rules.
Don't open your doors or windows at night in this town.
They're coming. There's only so many
This show's
places
so
we can
good.
go.
What are they?
You believe in monsters?
Please don't.
A man protects his family.
Get these people home, Sheriff.
Do everything I can.
Promise me.
Yeah, I do wonder if the Matthews family will be the whole town's downfall in the end, or if they'll be their savior. Who knows? It's hard to say. The show is still very much unraveling with the story. There's a lot of mysteries to be solved, and a lot of mysteries that are getting solved in season 3 by the looks of it. So I'm pretty hyped for that. God damn, this show is just so good. I've never been so locked in and like needing to know what happens next with the show. It's a pretty interesting premise. Family gets stopped by a tree in the road, takes a detour, keeps going through this town no matter what, like literally impossibly. They're not making any loops or turns. They're somehow ending up back in the town. They eventually crash because they're fighting over like how this is possible, and they're so freaked out. And the townspeople did not intend for that because they have some things to tell them that at night things get pretty fucking crazy. That is really all you need to know to go into the show. I'll eat this show, foaming at the mouth. Yeah, a lot of people who are already into it, that I've gotten into it, are really hooked on it too. So, yeah, I've yet to hear a person say that they watched From because of me and they didn't like it. Everyone who's watched it because of me is like, oh my god, Zan, this shit goes so hard. So yeah, with that said, I do hope to see you guys at the watch party tomorrow. It is going to be quite the fun time, if I do say so myself. So, here's where I think I'm going to wrap things up for the night. I really do appreciate all of you guys' overwhelming support and generosity today. You guys have been so kind and awesome. I really hope to see you guys tomorrow as well. I will be streaming quite a bit earlier tomorrow, hopefully. I'm going to see if I can get myself some Monster before stream time so I can wake up a little sooner. But if not, then it might be a little later. We'll see how it goes, though. Definitely streaming tomorrow, though. Particularly because I have to do a watch party afterwards, and I like to have people from the stream come into the watch party. It just flows really well. So with that said, I hope to see you guys tomorrow, and as always, have a good one. Thank you for your support. Thank you for even being here, and I love you all. Doo-doo fart.